Hey, thanks for checking out the Next Level Radio YouTube page. If you like what you hear, head to nextlevelradioonline.com. Find other podcasts and interviews that aren't included on the YouTube page, including guests such as Chris Parnell from SNL and Archer, Colin Mockery from Whose Line Is It Anyway, Kim Coates from Sons of Anarchy, even Chris Allen from American Idol, and much more. You can also download our podcasts on iTunes and Stitcher or stream them straight from our website at nextlevelradioonline.com. Also on the webpage, you'll find links to our Facebook and Twitter. Make sure you follow us to keep updated on everything we have going on and everything we have coming up. nextlevelradioonline.com also gives you coverage of events such as Philadelphia Comic-Con, and you can even check out our staff blog that includes movie reviews and much more. Again, be sure to subscribe to us on iTunes and Stitcher. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and head over to nextlevelradioonline.com for much more. Thanks for listening.
Then he goes, I drove Harrison Ford on Raiders of the Lost Ark 3. And I said, what was that like? And he said, Harrison smoked a joint on the way to the set every day. And he said, one day Harrison Ford gets in the car with a saucepan. And he goes, Harrison, what are you doing? And he says, they ran out of rolling papers. And he opens up the saucepan lid, and dope smoke fills up the Jaguar, and Harrison Ford is sticking his head in the saucepan, snorting weed.
Hey everybody, it's Greg Proops, the smartest man in the world, the specky one from Whose Line Is It Anyway? And you're grooving to Next Level Radio. Get it?
Welcome into episode number 18 of the second season of the Showcast. I'm Adam Gorey, joined by Steve Richards at the moment, and we will be joined by Ben Beck in a little bit, and we'll also be joined by a special guest co-host this week, Lucky Yates. But Steve and I are here to get things kicked off for you. We're going to go down the box office, the Blu-rays, the DVDs, and Steve and I are going to talk to Kristoffer Polaha from the upcoming film Where Hope Grows, and we'll talk about that a little bit when we get into the box office. So I'm sure Ben's going to ask us when he gets here, but Steve, how was your week?
It was pretty good. You and I did a little hangout on Saturday for a little golf playing.
A little golf action, yeah.
Yeah, that was
Turned out to be a nice day, yeah. And even though we lost, I don't know how many balls in wide open fields.
Yeah, we should point out that we're not that bad of golfers. Like, we didn't just lose balls because we hit them into the woods.
You're not.
Well, yeah, one of us is.
My short game was way off, though, so that, I mean, that's the reason I shot a little worse.
Yeah, that's it.
But correct, yeah, we weren't hitting bad shots.
Correct.
When we were losing these balls. We were losing balls that we shouldn't have lost.
Yes.
Which I think is the point you were trying to make.
We need to improve our looking skills.
Yeah. Well, how have they not... Maybe they have, and the balls probably just don't fly as well, but do they have ones that have, like, little GPS in them or something?
Balls? Yeah, there probably is. Like you said, I haven't heard of anything, but
they
we
probably
might have just broadcasted our $1 million idea over a podcast.
Well, I mean, it's probably a lot of engineering that has to go into it, because I figure if you're putting a little device or chip or something in it, it's probably going to mess with the weight and balance, and I'm sure that's all that golf balls are.
Yeah, but people also, use exploding golf balls. So
that's a good point. Oh, we've never tried that. As many times as we've gone golfing, we haven't played that prank on somebody.
That's true.
We could easily play that on our... I'm not going to... never mind.
Can't broadcast it.
I can't broadcast it. Son of a bitch. We'll talk about it off air. So let's we got a lot going on, because I think we're actually going to talk about some TV shows that got canceled this week, because this was a big week for that. So let's get right into the box office.
That's a load of crap.
And speaking of load of crap, only one new movie in the top 5 this week at the box office. Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 somehow still in the top 5.
It's a survivor.
It is number 5, bringing in another $5.1 million for a 4-week total of $58 million. I think Avengers made that within the first night that it was open.
Might have made more than that.
Yeah, you're probably right. And Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 still holds a whopping 6% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Ooh.
Next up, we have number 4, Furious 7, dropping back a few spots with $5.2 million for a 6-week total of 338.4. That one's still holding strong in the top 5. Eventually it'll get kicked out, but I think probably this week, because we'll get into the movies coming out this week.
Yeah, exactly.
Age of Adeline still at number 3 with 5.6. So the top, or the 3 through 5 didn't even make over 6 million, so not very tough to beat coming up. That has a 3-week total of 31.5 million. Number 2, opening up, I think that's where Steve said it would.
Yeah, roll the tape back. I think I called that one.
Yeah, I said 3, realizing after I said it that it's probably was going to be 2 because nothing made any money last week, except for Avengers. Hot Pursuit, number 2, 13.3, so still not a very impressive number, but that one has also a 6% on Rotten Tomatoes. 51 from the audience, so pop the champagne. Producers of that movie. And then staying at number 1, like we said, Avengers Age of Ultron, making 77.2 for a 2-week gross of 312.5.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Coming out this week, let's get right into it. We'll start off with Mad Max Fury Road with Tom Hardy, Charlize Theron. Zoe Kravitz is also in that one. That is an action-adventure thriller. Which is basically a long... I mean, how long was the last Mad Max movie out? It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while. I don't know.
It's in a stark desert landscape where humanity is broken. 2 rebels just might be able to restore order. Max, a man of action and few words, and Furiosa, a woman of action who is looking to make it back to her childhood homeland. That one is opening up, I had it here, over 3,500 theaters.
Yeah,
so
that'll be a mass release.
Yeah.
It's a blockbuster.
If you notice, Steve, I'm starting to give these numbers to you right away now. So
that's good work.
I learned. Also coming out this week, Pitch Perfect 2, the sequel to I would say probably a cult classic, because I don't think the first one was that great in the box office, right?
I'm not sure, but you're right about the cult. I mean, it caught on, and it's a wildly popular movie. This one will probably kill it, you know.
Yeah, I think the first one came out, after Glee had been out a little while. And it's a little different because it's a cappella, but I think it was kind of riding the heels of Glee, pretty much.
It's just under 65 million, the first one made.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
Which isn't a lot.
Correct. For as big as the movie is, you would have thought that it would have made more than that.
This second one might come close to that in the first week.
Maybe. That's a big number, but...
That is a big number. Okay, 2 weeks. That is a comedy/music movie about after a humiliating command performance at Lincoln Center, the Barden Bellas enter an international competition that no American group has ever won in order to regain their status and right to perform. Or is that the group that they are in?
I'm not sure. I guess one of us should have seen this before we
Barden
started talking
Bellas.
about it. But look, it's directed by Elizabeth Banks. Is the first one directed by Elizabeth Banks?
I don't think so.
That's such a weird director in the sense
Jason-
that I've never heard of a movie she directed.
Yeah, Jason Moore directed the first one.
That's interesting.
That is
So,
interesting.
Different director.
Did you hear?
Famous director.
You hear Elizabeth Banks called out Tara Reid
Really?
like a week or so ago? Yeah, for no reason too. It was kind of unprovoked, which kind of made it funny.
Oh, good for her.
That one. Did I say how many theaters that one was coming out in?
Not yet.
Over 3,400 theaters.
Just a little less than Mad Max, but still a mass release.
Still a mass release. You are correct. A limited release for "I'll See You in My Dreams," which is a dramedy about a widow and former songstress who discovers that life can begin anew at any age. They should have just called it "You Can Teach an Old Dog New Tricks." That one stars Malin Ackerman, Sam Elliott, Martin Starr, and Blythe Danner, directed by Brett Haley. That one, like I said, is limited. Also limited, very limited. So much in the fact that it's only coming out in 2 theaters, apparently. A new Ethan Hawke drama thriller called Good Kill, which is about a family man who begins to question the ethics of his job as a drone pilot.
There's all sorts of names in that one.
January Jones. Zoe Kravitz is also in that one. She's coming out in 2
week of Zoe
movies.
Kravitz.
Yeah. Wow. Who knew? Good job, Lenny. Next coming out, The Connection, which is a action crime thriller about a French police magistrate who spends years trying to take down one of the country's most powerful drug rings. Sounds exciting. A bunch of French names in this one, guys. So.
Well, it's Jean Dujardin, who is the most famous French actor there is.
You practiced that, didn't you?
No, he won for the artist. That's the artist guy. So everybody knows. He's like David Oyelowo. Everybody knows how to pronounce his name now.
At this point. When the other one came out, though, they're like, Jean Dujardin.
Yeah.
That one is a limited release as well. Let's see. This one, it does not give me numbers. There's a new Elijah Wood movie coming out. Let's go to the other limited one that we have here on the list, Where Hope Grows, which we talked to Kristoffer Polaha regarding that movie in just a little bit. That is about a baseball player whose professional career was cut short due to his personal problems. He is suddenly awakened and invigorated by a young man with Down syndrome who works at a local grocery store. Kristoffer Polaha plays the baseball player. David DeSanctis, I believe one of, if not the first, actor with Down syndrome to have a starring role.
Yeah, a little bit. Christopher talked about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Directed by Chris Dowling, also appearing in that film, Danica McKellar, who you might know as Winnie Cooper from The Wonder Years.
Yeah.
And William, it says here, but everybody knows him better by Billy Zabka from Karate Kid. Do you want to give our reviews of that quick, or do you want to wait till after we talk to Chris? After the Chris interview.
We can wait until after we talk so people.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything for the interview, so that's a good idea. Yeah. But like I said, that one is limited in its release. So just to run down the rest of them, that doesn't give me if it's limited or not. Set Fire to the Stars, which is a drama with Elijah Wood. And then finally, The Film Critic, which is a dramedy directed by Hernan Gershuni. And that is it for movies coming out. Let me see if anything has... Let's see, Pitch Perfect 2 right now on Rotten Tomatoes is showing at a 76. I'll See You in My Dreams showing at a 100.
Heyo.
And then Good Kill showing at an 83. I don't see...
Mad Max.
I don't see rating. Mad Max doesn't have one. The Connection has a 50 at the moment. With your boy Desjardins.
Yeah.
But Where Hope Grows doesn't have one either at the moment. So, since Ben isn't here yet, Steve's actually going to take over the role of DVD and Blu-ray releases.
Yeah. Do you want to try and guess about Pitch Perfect and?
Oh yeah.
Max,
I'm sorry.
They'll sit?
Yeah, it's a good call. I forgot. Okay. So top 5 movies just in general, and then I'll let you say which. I can assume since they're the 2 national releases, it'll be Mad Max and Pitch Perfect 2. So it's just a matter of, who's going to finish higher and whereabouts you think they finish.
Yeah, exactly. For me, I think that Mad Max might... I think there's still some Avengers people out there in the sense that if I'm going to go and look for an action adventure thriller movie, I might not have seen Avengers yet. I think Mad Max might be released too close.
Yeah, that's a good
obviously
point.
For the diehard movie fans, that people will have already seen Avengers and then they'll go ahead and see Mad Max. But I think that Mad Max might feel some Avengers effect. So I have Pitch Perfect outdueling Mad Max. And I'll have Pitch Perfect at 2 and Mad Max at 3 just because I think Avengers still has some steam to gain. So I have Avengers 1, Pitch Perfect 2, and Mad Max 3.
Okay. Apparently I guess this is related. There's a Mad Max Renegade in 2011, but it was a short film. It was only 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
The last one before that was 1985.
There you go. That's the one that we're talking about.
Beyond Thunderdome. Yeah. But yeah, that's actually a really good point. With if you're looking for an action movie and you haven't seen Avengers yet, why would you go see Mad Max if Avengers is
I mean, I guess it's definitely a different genre in the
Yeah.
sense that this is an apocalypse movie and the Avengers is more of a...
I think the Mad Max film is going to bring in more of a generation maybe above us who remember the original ones a little more.
I like that approach, yeah. Mad Max is the older and the nerd / comic book is in with our generation right now, so to speak.
Right, so I do agree. Avengers, I think, sticks at 1. That's what you said, right?
I did say that, yeah.
And then you said you had Pitch Perfect at 2?
Yeah, I had Pitch Perfect outdueling Mad Max.
Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with that. And we can ask Ben when he gets on, and Lucky even, and ask him his opinion. But I think I'm going to agree. I think I say Avengers, Pitch Perfect, and then Mad Max at 3. Hot Pursuit's probably going to drop to 4 or 5.
I agree.
I actually think it's going to drop to 5. I think Age of Adeline is probably going to beat it out. because that seems to be kind of staying
That's
consistent. And only went the change for that this week was only like a 10% decrease, which is not a lot.
Yeah.
And I think Furious 7 and Paul Blart 2 are going to be out of here.
Yeah, I think the numbers will be 1, 2, 3, and then everybody else. Like I think that these
they're
are
going to be
clearly
like 4 million.
Yeah, exactly. Like these are clearly the 3 movies to see, and the other ones will be in the top 5, but kind of by default type of thing.
No, that's exactly right. That's kind of how they are right now. They're in the top 5, making 5 million. I mean, it's not a lot.
That's true.
Okay, so yeah, we can, if we remember to, we'll have to ask Ben and Lucky maybe what they think for this week's box office. But other than that, I'll pass it over to you for the DVDs.
Yeah, let's see if we can have this go smoothly here. I'll be covering it this week. The first movie coming out on Blu-ray and DVD this week is called Black Hat, which is a movie that I actually hadn't heard of, but Adam had, so we're going to cover it. Made 7.8 in the box office. It's a movie starring Chris Hemsworth and Viola Davis. 33% on Rotten Tomatoes, so a real killer there. 25% from the audience. So, Adam, what do you think? What do we do? Netflix, rent, or buy? I think is what it works.
Buy, rent, Netflix, or pass.
Yeah. There's a pass category.
Man, I like Chris Hemsworth, but those are not good numbers.
Sure.
So I think I'm going to pass.
Yeah, I'm going to pass as well, because I've never heard of it. I kind of said that before, but...
Yeah, it came out January 16th, so about 5 months ago. That's probably about average as far as wait time.
Yeah, I guess so.
Just over 2 hours long. Yeah, I'm going to pass, I think. I'll stick with that.
Yeah, you and me both. And then in the juggernaut week that is DVD and Blu-ray release, 33% was not the worst Rotten Tomatoes rating because Mordecai comes out on DVD this week. Johnny Depp, Gwyneth Paltrow, terrible reviews, officially.
So bad.
13% on Rotten Tomatoes. The audience absolutely loved it, though. They're at 35%. So, where are you at on this one, if I even have to ask?
Yeah. I mean, I could have told you from the trailers when the trailers were out that this movie was gonna not do well.
Yeah.
I mean, it has a good cast, but I mean, this is a definite pass for me. I mean,
that is the interesting part, because the cast is good.
Yeah. Gwyneth Paltrow, who was voted, sexiest woman last year, I think.
Oh, yeah? I didn't know that.
Pretty sure, yeah.
She is kind of sexy.
Yeah,
I'm more into Olivia Munn, who's also in the movie. But.
That's true. Johnny Depp has just his recent movies have not been up to par. Lone Ranger, Dark Shadows, Transcendence, Mordecai, they've all been, I mean, Into the Woods did well, but he was in that for like 10 minutes.
And then that trailer came out that we talked about in Trailer Trash. It was either 1 or 2 weeks ago, with Black Mass, where he plays Whitey Bulger, so it could be a complete turnaround for him.
Right, hopefully.
Yeah.
I hope they do that one well and it comes out as good as it looks.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully that breaks his streak, because his movies have not been doing well lately in the past couple years. So
yeah, absolutely.
And I like him as an actor too, so it's nothing against him.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, we're both a pass on that one. But we will close with a legitimate movie. Still Alice comes out this week, which was a certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes at 89%. That is the
Oscar
movie
bait, right?
with Julianne Moore and Kristen Stewart. Julianne Moore won the Best Actress Oscar for it. Like I said, Kristen Stewart is also in it. Alec Baldwin. I haven't actually seen the movie, but I heard it did a nice job as well as a supporting actor role.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either, but it was about the layup of the century when it comes to Julianne Moore for the Best Actress. I think she was the highest favorite by far.
Yeah, that was a slam dunk.
Ben still went ahead and picked Reese Witherspoon like an idiot.
She plays Alice Howland, who is happily married with 3 grown children, is a renowned linguistics professor who starts to forget words. She receives a diagnosis of early onset Alzheimer's, and then Alice and her family finds their bonds thoroughly tested. I read the synopsis of that one because it's the only real movie that that comes out this week. So,
and it's only an hour 40 minutes long.
Yeah, absolutely. So, is this what do you got? Buy, Netflix/rent, or a pass on this one for you?
Yeah, this is a Netflix/rent. I'm not the buying type, and I haven't seen it yet, so I can't definitely say for sure. It looks really good. It's one of those, it's not going to be your Avengers popcorn flick. You know what I mean? It's going to be something that's a little deeper,
little more, might strike a couple nerves maybe for some people who have gone through similar, not necessarily Alzheimer's, but even other family issues with disease and things of that nature. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, she won Best Actress. She's a really good actress in general. So, you know, I can't give it a buy quite yet. I wouldn't be surprised if it's buy worthy for some people. But I'll at least give it a Netflix/rent, depending how, you know, if it doesn't come out on Netflix for a while, I might actually have to go to, you know, one of those dollar boxes and pick it up.
Yeah, I'm actually excited for this one to come out. This is definitely a rent. I'll find a way to see this one, however it comes up, whether it be HBO or Netflix or that dollar box that you just referenced. So this is definitely, I'm going to find a way to see this one. I'll be excited for it.
Yeah, definitely looks good.
Yeah, and I think that'll, there's a bunch of other ones that come out, but I assume that Ben skips those just like I'm doing right now. So
yeah, I think
those were the three of note anyway.
We only do the main ones.
Yeah.
Google DVD releases if you want to see what crappy movies come out this week.
Yeah, exactly.
If Mordecai made the list, I think you're safe by not looking it up.
Yeah, not looking at the other ones.
All right, so that does it for that. So Steve and I are going to take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk to Kristoffer Polaha, and even after that, stick around because Ben will be back in here with us. Lucky Yates is going to join us. We're going to talk about Avengers, Age of Ultron with Lucky, along with a bunch of other Marvel and just probably in general pop culture stuff, I'm sure. And I think we're going to touch on some TV stuff as well, plus next level news, weekly update, and I'm sure there's a bunch more coming up. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Hey, everybody, it's Drew Powell from TV's Gotham, and you're listening to the Showcast on Next Level Radio.
All right, our guest this week has been seen both on the small screen and the big screen. He's appeared in shows such as Ringer, Backstrom, Mad Men, and Life Unexpected. He's also starred in Atlas Shrugged Part 3 and joins us now this week to talk about his latest starring role as Calvin Campbell in the new drama Where Hope Grows, opening in theaters this week. Joining us on the Next Level Hotline, please welcome to the Showcast, Kristoffer Polaha. Chris, how's it going?
It's going pretty good, guys. How you doing?
We're doing great, man. Glad to hear this movie's coming out for you. I mean, obviously you're the star role in it, and I think both Steve and I can say you do a fantastic job. And I want to see what stands out to you, at least that makes this film different from other films that you've worked on or other TV shows and things of that nature.
Yeah, I mean, the most obvious thing I think is my co-star David DeSanctis, who he is an actor with Down syndrome, and instead of having just sort of like a smaller token role, he has a pretty significant part. It's not his role isn't about the fact that he has Down syndrome. He's an actor with Downs, and the character's with Downs, and he has a pretty cool role and does a great job doing it. So what that means is that it's just exposed this film to an audience that represents, like a huge quadrant of our population, families, people with Downs, and it's giving them a voice, and it's giving dignity to a pretty, cool population of our country.
Yeah, I think, families who have a family member with Down syndrome, could be critical of other films with, representation of that. And I think this film does a fantastic job representing it. So I think in that aspect, you guys are going to be pretty in the clear. And I think, people with, who can relate to this type of situation are really gonna think that you guys did a great job on it.
Thanks. Yeah. I mean, I always feel like it's underrepresented in our society. Well, not our society per se, but in Hollywood, my society. You get usually a token character, and it's, somebody that has special needs or whatever, and they always kind of, it's just they're poorly represented, and that's why I love this movie so much. That was why I was drawn to the script, was because when I read it, Produce, the character, his name is Produce. He goes through all these different, emotions, and this whole, he's a protagonist, and you're watching his character arc unfold, and he affects my character, and you care about him. You're watching this guy, and the message of the film is about life and how it's unfair and how you're not going to get everything you want, and how it's hard, but if you have hope and if you kind of,
Yeah.
The message is a positive, amazing message, and I mean, it's just basically the message is, life is going to be shit sometimes, but if you hang in there and you hang in there with a heart that focuses on better things, life will be okay.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's good that you brought up the messages because that's where I was headed with my question. I think the movie does a great job of driving home multiple messages. Obviously, there's some, without giving away any spoilers, there's some struggle with alcoholism for a couple characters as well. So just interested in what you're hoping the movie accomplishes when people go out and see it this coming week.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a spoiler alert. My character is he's dealing with alcoholism. A buddy of his too, I guess, the two of us. There's different, I mean, I don't know. It's interesting to see the marketplace these days for movies. We've got like comic book heroes. We've got Star Wars making a comeback in December, Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, like movies that shouldn't even have remakes are having remakes. And it's this weird sort of like groping and yearning towards our past before 9/11 happened or before the world got, physically dark and scary. I don't know, but it's this strange, it's a reflection of our longing for an innocent time back in the day. But, some movies are reflective of how you have to kind of mature and grow up a little bit and embrace life as it is. And this is certainly one of those pictures. And it has so many different, themes that run through it that are really mature and important, but it's told in a way that's family friendly. So you can, like, if you're a parent, you can take your kids to it. And you guys have to forgive me. I'm been on the press junket since Saturday, and I'm fighting this cold, so that's why my voice sounds so scratchy and stuff. I'm trying to be, Joe Cool over here. I can hardly stop. But so forgive me. The message of the movie, it's like you're dealing with addiction. You're dealing with a broken relationship between a father and his daughter, and what she's longing for, and so she looks for, love in all the wrong places, and yet it's really wonderful because she's a virgin. So then you have an issue of chastity that's taking place, and
right.
So her not really having any guidance on what to do with that and what she does with that. And then you've got obviously faith. There's Produce happens to have Down syndrome, and he happens to be a Christian, and those two factors play in his life. I guess the best way to sum it up is that my character sees Produce, who has Down syndrome, and by outward appearances, it looks like life has dealt him a terrible hand. And yet Produce has such a positive outlook on life, and he's so happy and joyful. And my character, whose life has, by outward appearances, been really blessed. He was in the major leagues. He was a baseball star. He's got, full head of hair. He's doing okay, but he's just miserable inside. Like, he's not happy at all. And so my guy looks at his guy and says, "What's your secret?" And then Produce says, "Well, come to church with me and we'll find out." It's like, it's just a sweet, it's got a sweet message, and it's a sweet movie. And you don't have to be, a person of faith to go and see it and enjoy it. It's not preaching to the choir, because it really is, it's what the best art does. It's reflective of human nature and our hurting and our longing and our, our fears and our hopes.
Well, I think you have access to our questions, because you basically just created another perfect segue, because my next question was actually going to have to do with that religious theme that kind of recurs in the movie and throughout it. Even though, it's pretty subtle, at many times, it's not, they don't try and shove it down your throat to kind of turn people off. Were you worried at all with that religious theme, that people would either prejudge it, seeing that it's there, or that it just wouldn't resonate with some people based on that alone?
Yeah, I mean, it was a really interesting moment for me as an actor, because I was sitting home in my Malibu house, fancy. We don't live there anymore, so I can brag about it. But I was sitting in my Malibu house, and I got 3 scripts in a row, and one was for the Hallmark Channel, and the other one was for this other, it was really sort of like hit you on the head, right on the nose. And both were really positive and upbeat, but they were saccharine. And I was just like, this is not, I don't want to be a part of something like this. This is just cheesy, and it doesn't feel right.
Right.
And then you've seen movies of faith that are just really only for Christians. Like, you're just like, well, this is a movie, but it's not for me. It's not, this isn't, you know, this is the relevance to my life.
Mm-hmm.
This script came in, and it's the tone. Like I said, it doesn't. I don't know if it's the right adjective to describe it, but when I say mature, what I mean by that is that it's for adults in the sense that it's not from a child's, like Star Wars is immature. Age of Ultron is immature. It's for children, even though they're made for adults and they're acted by adults. The themes, and even though there's themes that are, you know, running through those movies, they're immature. So does that? I guess that's how I want to preface like what I mean by mature, because I guess mature could be taken the wrong way.
Absolutely.
But it's just, you know, it's a movie about grown-ups. But it's also, I can say, I don't know, I'm not describing it well. It's a movie for people who are, you know, in a world, that are looking for, you know, hope and redemption. And it's like, it's one of those things you say, I don't know, I'm selling a movie. All I know is that every time I've gone and sat and watched it with audiences, and we sat down with the Pujols Family Foundation, and it was in an audience, it was probably 400 people, half of whom had Down syndrome. And you could hear the audible, like, response. Like, it's, I've never been a part of a film that's had, the people have had the reaction they've had to this one. And all of a sudden, this audience filled with kids with Down syndrome, you could feel, like, literally who they were before the movie, which was very shy, reserved, and then who they were after the movie. And nothing had changed except for this movie played. They were outgoing and they were confident. And you could tell there was like dignity that entered the room, and it was like they were represented, and it was an incredible thing.
That's awesome.
And then I saw it at a screening for a film festival with a bunch of cinephiles. You know, they're these like movie people who are so into their movies, and a lot of the movies are horror films, and we were not necessarily the film that like people would like there. But the movie's so well told, and Chris Dowling, the writer-director, did such a great job. And Alex Lehman, who's the cinematographer, did such a beautiful job lighting it and shooting it, that it's just got this great tone and mood. And so all these people who love movies loved it. And, you know, I've sat next to people who were weeping because my character and his struggle with alcoholism, and they were like, I know that guy, or I am that guy, or my kid's that guy. So it's just unusual. So, I mean, I know I sound like it's all hyperbolic, and I know I'm sitting here just pitching a movie, and we're probably going to talk in, you know, a couple more months, and I got another project that I'm talking about. But this one is unique, and this one is special, and it's leaving in its wake a lot of hope and a lot of dignity, and I love that it does have an amazing message of faith, and I love that it's not one that, you know, smacks you right on the head. It's just this, you know, because I think faith is out there for a reason, and people are drawn to it for a reason. So it's, you know, it's time that it's represented fairly in movies, you know, because I think that movies are such a powerful medium, and oftentimes, you know, people, you know, it's like Christians are represented poorly in mass media, and like a lot of times issues that we're surrounding around faith are seen as, you know, sort of provincial or silly or, you know, backwards, and so there's a biased representation coming out of Hollywood.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you mentioned the multiple fields, so to speak, of people, and mentioned that you were at the film festival. I saw that the film won the Audience Choice Award at the Heartland Film Festival. I don't know if that's the festival you were talking about or not. Did you get to attend that? And if so, can we get a sweet story from your experience over at that festival?
I wish I attended that one. I didn't. I've been to two at the film. One was the Phoenix Film Festival, and the other one was the Idlewild Film Festival, both of which we were in contention in Idlewild, and actually won the Best Actor award at the Idlewild
awesome.
Film Festival. And the only thing that's cool is because I went to, when I decided to become an actor, I went to this thing called Idlewild School of Music and the Arts, like the summer of my freshman year of high school, I guess. Mm-hmm. And it had this really special place in my heart. So to go back with a film to this film festival in the same city, which really is just this tiny little hippie town up in, you know, near Palm Springs in California. And then the one in Arizona is what I was talking about. But yeah, I think it did really well at Heartland. It won the Audience Award, and yeah, it's been well received wherever it's played. It's kind of a cool thing. Which leads all roads lead back to you guys, which is we've been spreading the word for the last couple of weeks, just trying to get some attention for the movie because it opens on May 15th, and we did the math. okay, we did the math. If 190,000 people go and see it that weekend, it will become a record-breaking independent film.
Wow.
Based on
That's awesome.
the budget and how many theaters it's in.
That's not that bad. I think that's definitely within reach.
Yeah.
So that's a doable number, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's a doable number.
Well,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know we're definitely going to be pushing people to go see it because we would love to help you break that record. We'd love
Yeah.
to be, it'd be cool to be a part of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be fun, right?
Yeah.
For sure. And then I did have a couple other questions for you, looking at your kind of your history and acting and outside of this film. I saw that you had a part in Mad Men as Francine's husband, Carlton. Obviously, Mad Men's coming to an end soon here in 2 weeks, and I think I read that you were kind of reading for Don Draper in the beginning parts of it, which would have been a career change, I think. But what was it like being a part of that show? And what do you see kind of its historical significance in TV?
Well, I'll start with the last question first. I think its historical significance, it really marked change in broadcast versus cable television, and it created that sweeping movement towards, smaller boutique shows.
That's absolutely true.
Which, HBO went and ran with. Showtime followed. AMC's done a great job with first Mad Men and then The Walking Dead, and it became the first Tiffany, like the first Tiffany television show that it had. I think there were times where there was like 100,000 people watching it.
Yeah.
Which on any other network would mean absolute failure. Like I'm on a show right now called Backstrom on Fox, and we're getting I think 5 million a week, and that's not enough. And then my experience was a really unique one. So first of all, I met Matthew Warner. He had me come in and read, and then he had me come back and read again, and then he had me come back and read again, and I think he had me come back and read one more time, and finally he was just sitting there on the couch and he was looking at me while I was doing this like toasted. It was about tobacco being toasted. And he said, "Man, you're just too young." He's like, "And then you're too old for the other part." He's like, "There's another part you'd be good for, but you're just too old for." He's like, "You're right in the middle." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." And it's funny because I read the script and I thought it was really good, but because it said AMC, I was like, there's nothing on AMC, right? There's nothing on AMC. And that was the attitude of everybody season one. It was like John Hamm and I remember Jamie Lee Jones, we were all just sitting there and they were like, who knows? Like, it's just a job. Like, who knows what's going to happen with it? And then it debuted, and it really did explode. I mean, it was a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
And I remember even like Banana Republic from season 2 had like a Mad Men campaign. And it was everywhere. People were dressing up with Halloween. And so then I went back for season 2. I donned like a fat suit, and you could tell everybody he was feeling good. John Hamm had just like, he won an Emmy, I think, but he couldn't accept it because of the strike. And so they didn't have the Emmys that year, and so he didn't get to accept it in front of people. But so it was always this weird thing, I think, like it was the almost show. But and then third season I went back. I remember literally sharing a triple banger. It was me, John Hamm, and another actor sharing a triple banger, and it made me really think about, because if that were a network show, everyone would have their own single. Like John Hamm would have had a huge private trailer to himself, and the budget would have been 12 times what it was.
Yeah.
So just a really interesting, but culturally, like entirely significant. I mean, it was a watermark show for television.
Absolutely, you said it. I mean, it was the start of something much bigger for HBO and Showtime.
Yeah.
Well, we know you got to get going, but real quick, you mentioned Backstrom. Do you know when you're going to find out about season 2 on that show?
Yeah, gentlemen, I'm supposed to find out about it like today or tomorrow. Yeah, like I should be finding out about it
okay.
soon, very soon.
We are going to.
I mean, the pulse is like on the other line right now. I keep calling in. I keep ignoring it. No, it's an interesting show. Like critically, it was a hit and miss. It was funny. It was like the critics kind of came in on it hard, and it was just like a repeat of House. But then there was a second wave of critics and criticism. That was not criticism, it was praise. And it was kind of like, wait, we were too quick to judge this. It's actually one of the bright spots.
Yeah.
Season, and it kind of, and Rain's performance is really exceptional, and we found an audience that's a really great diehard audience, but like it's unfortunately we were in the shadow of Empire. For the whole winter season, it was really about Cookie and Fubu and whatever else. And it was like, it was just this show that kept gaining momentum and speed, and everything else sort of fell to the wayside. And unfortunately, Backstrom did too. So that doesn't mean that it's dead. But by the time this airs, it might be, or it might not be.
We had Thomas Decker on the podcast a few weeks ago, so that's 2 Backstrom people now we've had on. So our fingers are obviously crossed for
awesome.
season 2.
You need to get Rain. I'd be happy to endorse you guys for him.
Yeah, totally. We'd love to have him on.
Really dope, dude. And you guys had Chris Parnell, I read. Is that
we
true?
did. Yes, we did.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Chris Parnell and I did a show with Judy Greer called Misguided.
Yeah, yeah.
Ashton Kutcher produced it, and he was phenomenal to work with. That guy's awesome.
Yeah, he was really cool to talk to too. I mean, I think all our guests pretty much are fun to talk to, and I'm not just saying that. We actually get pretty lucky, including yourself, obviously. But
you're like, except for you, you're like, we had a good track record.
Well, that was a good run.
Polaha on the show.
It was fun while it lasted. No, but I mean, well, your movie coming out, Where Hope Grows, is coming out this Friday, like you said, May 15th. We definitely want to make sure people go see it. Want you to break that record, obviously.
Yeah, that's the record.
We want Backstrom to be back for a season 2 so we can have you back on next year. And we want people to make sure they follow you on Twitter at Chris Polaha, and that's Chris with a K, K-R-I-S. And, Chris, obviously we want to thank you for joining us. This was a good time. And best of luck with the movie, best of luck with Backstrom, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you down the road.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, definitely. Stick around. We'll be right back with more Showcast here on Next Level Radio.
Hello, this is Dr. Krieger from the television show Archer. I work for a spy agency that's called the CIA. You're listening to Next Level Radio, just like I do, in my lab, when I'm dissecting live humans.
All right, welcome back to the Showcast. Thank you very much to Chris Polaha for doing that interview with us, and make sure you go see Where Hope Grows this Friday in theaters. Before we bring on our 2 newly added co-hosts to this podcast, at least, Steve, what did you think of the movie real quick?
Yeah, I thought it was good. It was like it's an indie type film, but I kind of mentioned it in one of the questions that I asked, that it kind of drives home a lot of different points in one movie, which is good. So you'll definitely go in, and you'll leave thinking about some things, which is never a bad thing.
What would you give it on a scale of 1 to 10? I don't know, baseballs. That's kind of a recurrent.
That's a terrible one. I'll give it
1 to 10 bottles of Jack.
Yep, 6.5 bottles of Jack.
It's probably not good because he's struggling with alcoholism. We probably shouldn't make fun of that. But anyway, what did you say? 6.5?
I did.
I'll give it a 6.5 as well. I actually really liked it. It was better than I expected going into it. And like you said, it's one of those, and we'll talk about Avengers in a little bit, but like Avengers is just such a good like popcorn flick to enjoy. You don't really have to go in there paying attention and thinking about things, and Where Hope Grows actually makes you think about things. So exactly. You actually walk away from the movie with learning something, which is cool. So anyway, without further ado, we'll bring on Ben is back, so he doesn't get a really good intro, but
no, not at all.
Joining us as a special guest co-host, not an interview this week. This is the first time we've had a return guest as a co-host. Joining us is Lucky Yates.
Look at me, I'm on the show.
This is how many podcasts have you been on now? I know you guys do your own at Dad's Garage.
We do, although we haven't done one in a little minute because our producer moved to LA, and so we've got to break in a new one. And and then there was traveling and all kinds of whatnot that happened in there. So we're about to come back.
If you're willing to fly me down there and buy me a house, I'll be your new producer.
Jesus, buy you a house? I can't even afford a house.
Okay, an apartment.
About?
I'll take an apartment.
God,
I'll just live in your basement.
Oh, seriously, dude, you should see underneath the house here. You do not want to live down there. It's like a serial killer of old furniture lives down there. It's crazy.
So Ben, I guess I'll let you take the reins back now that you're here, and I don't have to do as much.
So, all right, so you're actually giving me back control then.
The reins are to you.
The reins are to me. Awesome. I don't know about you guys. I've been looking forward to Lucky coming on for a while, so I'm like really excited about this. So,
of course,
don't get too excited.
Well,
not only because he's back on, but we get to talk the hell out of Avengers now.
Yeah,
I know. I get to go from geeking out at Comic-Con to geeking out with Lucky Yates about like movies and shit. This is awesome. So, before we do that, though, we have to hit the... I know you guys didn't take care of it in the first part of the show, so we're going to hit it now, and we're going to send it over to Steve for this week's Trailer Trash.
Howdy, y'all. It's time for the Trailer Trash.
All right, Steve, so what are we looking at for some new trailers this time around?
Lucky, do you know how this works before we go into it? This is a kind of a game that we play where I just kind of find the trailers that are coming out on IMDb this week, and we decide if we want to watch the movie or not, or what we thought of the trailer.
Sure.
But being the creative geniuses that we are, if you don't like the trailer, it's called a dumpster fire, and if you do like the trailer, then it's a trash into treasure. But we're not too smart, so we don't know what to call something if we just kind of liked it, but then we just kind of say we kind of liked it.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, that said, this week we might have to call the fire brigade, but we're going to give this a go anyway and see how it goes. The first is actually a TV show, a Netflix original, called Sense8. It's going to premiere on June 5th. The quick synopsis is a group of people around the world are suddenly linked mentally and must find a way to survive being hunted by those who see them as a threat to the world's order. I'm not really sure. I didn't really recognize anybody in the actual show, but if somebody did, then they can chime in. But Ben, we'll let you start and kind of show the way for Lucky so he knows what to do when it comes to him.
Well, I'm a bad example to start with because this is actually the one trailer out of all of them I did not watch.
So I'll start. Ben, you've lost the reins.
Adam, go right ahead.
Naveen Andrews is in it, who I recognize from Lost because
from Lost,
big Lost person. Also, the Wachowski, well, two of the Wachowski siblings now, I guess, now that they have Lana in there as well, but.
Yes, they are siblings.
They're involved in the film or in the show. Yeah, I actually think for me, this is I give Netflix too much credit because of how good House of Cards is, but honestly, if you look at some of the other stuff they put out, it's not all that great. So I think this one there's going to put a lot of production into it, but I think it's going to disappoint a little bit. And the Wachowski brothers haven't done anyone with the last name Wachowski hasn't done something really impressive to me since the first Matrix. So,
what?
what other one? What am I missing? I mean, the second two? Is that?
E, you didn't like V?
Oh, I forgot they did V. Okay, yeah.
He produced it, which I think is all they're doing for this thing. But V was fantastic.
V was good. Man. I'll give them V. Okay, so two things.
They're
like the Keanu Reeves of directing and writing.
I am also. I will go to bat any day for Speed Racer, man. I will go to bat. I will go to bat for that movie till my dying breath. I will defend the awesomeness of that film.
I love that movie. I'm just glad you didn't start going to bat for Jupiter Ascending.
Oh, I didn't even see it. I heard it was such a disaster.
It was horrible. It's horrible. But Adam, I'm kind of against you on what you said about like Netflix's shows not being that great. I mean, you named one, but I mean, there's House of Cards, Orange is the New Black, Daredevil is fantastic. They have a good track record.
I don't like Orange is the New Black.
Oh, well,
I couldn't get on board with it. I think we discussed this before. I can't. It doesn't know if it's a drama or a comedy, and it confuses me. And I don't like it.
Yeah, you know what? I watched the first episode, and it did not hook me, and I never went back.
Ha!
So.
Now I got somebody on my side.
So I went Orange is the New Black, and I didn't go back. So that myth is busted.
So I guess
What show is this?
Sense8.
what I'm trying to say about Sense8 is it's for me a dumpster fire.
Great. Way to go.
Yeah, can I go?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Man, it. I felt watching it. I was like, this could be one of those dopey things that maybe resonates somehow, but I doubt it because it looks like it's trying to be like Orphan Black and some sort of X-Men thing. Plus, like it's trying to be too many sci-fi tropes in one little show, and I ain't buying it, man.
Yeah. I'm with you guys calling it the dumpster fire. I didn't kind of where you are, Lucky, in the sense that I didn't really understand what the trailer was. Like it was kind of all over the place to me, and I kind of got lost. And then backing you up a little bit, Netflix has a lot of really good shows, but they have so many shows now.
Yeah.
Like it's almost overwhelming the amount of shows. Like they're throwing out shows, and I didn't even know that they were out. So it's kind of they're doing a volume thing right now. But since Ben doesn't get to say anything because he didn't watch the trailer. All three of us are in agreement that Sense8 is a dumpster fire.
Not to mention, Sense8 is just a dumb thing. That's like that's what they're calling them. Oh, you're a Sense8. Like, come on, man. Come on.
Yeah.
But Lucky, there's no space in between the word sense and 8. So
Yeah, I know. Come on, man. The whole thing just bums me out.
Well, we don't want to get you too down, so
yeah, let's get on to something good, Steve. Give us something good.
I don't have any of that this week. But hey, the next movie though is Ricky and the Flash, which is a comedy drama musical that'll be coming out in August, starring Meryl Streep, who will no doubt get nominated for an Oscar, and Mamie Gummer, who kind of looked like Meryl Streep's daughter. I'm not 100% sure if she is or not. I shouldn't have said that on radio. Kevin Kline is in the movie as well. The synopsis: a musician who gave up everything for her dream of rock and roll stardom returns home, looking to make things right with her family. Hey, Ben, did you see this one?
I did watch this one.
Go for it.
This is one of those ones that I think is like, I think it. And see, I hate going first because then I get crucified if people think I'm wrong.
Well, we did to Adam last time, so
go for it, Ben.
That's true. I think this is one of those ones that they're working on the star power of Meryl Streep, but the movie itself, I think, is trying too hard to be something overly dramatic as far as like a mother out of touch with her family and things like that. It doesn't necessarily mean I think it's going to fail. And it's going to flop, and it's not going to be a good movie. I think it's just too early for me to tell. It's one of those ones that I'd probably check it out when it came to Netflix. I'm certainly not going to go to the theater to see it. So this is one of those ones that would fall kind of like in that in between that we don't have a name for yet. Like just keep it in the dumpster. It's fine there. So that's pretty much what I think about this one.
Fair enough.
Go ahead, Adam.
Oh, you want me to go?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like you said, Steve, I do think Oscar bait for Meryl Streep, just because it's Meryl Streep. But by the way, Sebastian Stan's also in this movie, who was the Winter Soldier. But yeah, for me, it doesn't do much. I probably won't see it until something for it gets nominated for the Oscars next year, and we do our whole Oscar thing where I watch it. But I'm kind of in agreement with Ben. I think it tries to do a little bit too much with itself, but for me, actually, I think I'm going to say a dumpster fire for me. I'm only going to watch it if I have to for the Oscars next year, but I could still see Meryl Streep getting a nomination.
I like how we automatically assume that Meryl Streep is getting nominated just because she's in a movie.
Like
just
you
off
called
the
it
trailer.
Oscar bait. I'm not sure this is anywhere near Oscar bait. You just called the name Meryl Streep. So go ahead, Lucky.
Dudes, you are missing the biggest plus for this film. This is the acting and singing comeback of Mr. Rick Springfield, which you little whippersnappers are too young to appreciate who the hell that is.
I know who Rick Springfield
Rick
is.
Springfield, Jesse's Girl. He had a huge hit, like in the late 70s, early 80s, somewhere around there, somewhere around the turn of the 80s. He was also a big star on TV's General Hospital, huge star, and that cat was fucking awesome. And now he's an old man playing an old rock star, standing next to Meryl Streep, who, dude, it's a Diablo Cody script. You know,
that's true.
The dialogue is going to be so dumb and over the top. Is this a movie for me? No. Is this going to be a pretty cool movie secretly that everybody whispers like Love Actually? Yes.
Like Love Actually. All right. So I guess it is Oscar bait, and Adam was completely right.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's necessarily Oscar bait. I mean, I feel like it's a role that Meryl Streep could phone in. She probably took it because it was going to be a lot of fun, and there's actual acting because she has to care about her kids that she abandoned. You know what I mean? So there'll be these, like, you know, Juno-esque acting moments. But, you know, like for her, it's a walk in the park. But if it wasn't her, it would have to be like Cher or nobody else. Right? You got to get one of those two. Who else are you going to get?
Yeah.
Maybe Susan Sarandon, but I feel like she's already done it 1,000 times. I don't know.
After seeing her in Stepmom, I don't know if I could see her in Ricky in the Flash.
Yeah, see, there you go.
All right, so I'm gonna go on Adam's side on this one, just because it just didn't intrigue me at all. I won't see the movie unless I have to, type of thing, or unless it's on TV somewhere, and like Lucky said, it becomes everyone's secret love. So
I don't know that love is. I just feel like it's going to be one of those, like, you would catch it on sitting on a rainy Sunday or whatever, and you catch it on cable, and you go, you know what? That actually wasn't that bad. That was actually all right. Like, I'm okay with having watched that movie. You know what I mean? It'll be like one of those. Like, yeah, all right, okay, cool, great.
Yeah, I think guilty pleasure was the term I was looking for.
Yeah, there you go.
So moving on to what will be surely the movie of the week is Magic Mike XXL. Comedy, drama, music. What else could you want?
Do we have to talk about this one?
Absolutely. July 1st, 2015.
How can we not talk about, what's it called, like Magic Mike
Extra,
Double XL?
Double XL. Channing Tatum
Christ.
is Double XL.
The old starter sizes.
The first one was a Steven Soderbergh movie, wasn't it?
Yeah, it sure was.
So it's like, that's why it was a good film. I didn't see it, but I understood the value of it, and I understand, of course, why it's a hit, because you got all these cool-looking, you know, all my dream man crushes are in it. You know, you got Wolverine and...
The wolf from True Blood is in it, Joe Manganiello.
Yeah.
Oh, is he in that?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
As
awesome.
hey, Kevin.
Big dick.
I was going to say
Character.
Kevin Nash from WWE fame.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is in this
yeah,
movie
it's
too.
Hagfest, right? So, of course, it's going to be like, and something for the ladies. Plus, all those dudes are cool, and they can play comedy. But it's a Steven Soderbergh movie, so, of course, it's going to have, like, meat to it and heart and all that kind of stuff, because that guy's a great filmmaker. But this next one is just like, somebody. Some guy directed it.
Somewhere in all this, Gabriel Iglesias makes an appearance.
Yep.
I don't know how he fits into this film, but
wow.
I think he was a bodyguard in the first one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's yeah.
From bodyguard to stripper. That's the whole story.
Is he a stripper in the second one?
I hope not.
I hope so.
I don't know, man.
I'm dumpster fire. Next person.
I mean, this is obviously a dumpster fire, but it's fun to talk about. But I won't add anything else either. Ben, do you have anything else?
No, not really. I mean, I've heard rumor that the first one isn't a bad movie, but I think this one is pretty much just made for the women that, you know, pretty much love the first one, and it's not even really. Yeah, it's not even really for a story. It's just so they can see these guys shirtless again.
For all those who went to see 50 Shades of Grey.
The one thing that I would say could pull this thing out of the dumpster fire is if it truly went for becoming a parody of itself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If
That's
it was immediately a parody, if it was parodizing everything that was in the first movie, like just so fucking over the top and ridiculous that you know that they're in on it. Like, we know this is stupid. So we're going to give you the stupidest thing you've ever, it's the only thing, if it became pure camp, I think, is the only thing that could save it.
Steve,
otherwise, it's going to be just terrible.
Steve, did you read the synopsis on this one?
No, but I certainly will. It's
Yeah,
rated
please
R,
do.
by the way, because there are
please.
rumors that Joe Manganiello hangs dong in this one, so it is rated R.
Great.
3 years after Magic Mike bowed out of the stripper life at the top of his game, he and the remaining Kings of Tampa, which is apparently the stripper group that he's in, hit the road to Myrtle Beach to put on one last blowout performance.
Can I just
are you reading a
dissect
different
all
one?
the things wrong with that synopsis?
Yeah. Forward.
First off, how do you bow out of the stripper life at the top of your game? There's a top of your game?
Of course there is.
Okay.
Mike's at it.
Channing Tatum is at the top of his game. Okay. And why? It made it look like they were going to some kind of competition. Is that a thing?
Could be.
I think it was a
Oh,
I think
sure.
they said it was like a conference or something.
Oh, I'm sure stripper competitions are huge. Dude, Atlanta is a huge strip club town.
Is
We
it?
got a lot of strip clubs in this city.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm sure there are competitions probably everywhere. Like those cheerleading competitions, you know what I mean? There's a thing for everything.
They just don't make it to ESPN.
Trust me. There's a market. If there's a buck to be made, it's out there. So yes, there are competitions for strippers. I guarantee it.
Well, I'm kind of proud of myself. I didn't know that. So
Yeah.
my life
so
is
to-
complete.
Go ahead. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Go.
All right, we're good. So to close out and hoping.
But hey,
to...
before we close out, let me.
no,
I
go
would
for
like
it.
to call attention to the fact that I invented a word called paradise.
I know exactly what you did.
I
I didn't say anything.
I wanted to address it before we moved on to. I got so excited. Plus, I smoked a bowl before we started this. So.
Dude, I just figured it was a word.
Just made up
Words,
words.
no.
I went with
Sometimes I just make them up if I can't think of anything better to say.
Yeah. That's a good
There,
say.
I admitted it. My conscience is clear.
It works.
Steve, I think you skipped one.
No, I'm not done yet.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You said close out, so I don't know.
The best.
This movie is going to close out. It is a comedy sci-fi that comes out August 14th, 2015 in the UK, so not 100% on the American release. A group, it's called Absolutely Anything. A group of eccentric aliens confer a human being with the power to do absolutely anything as an experiment. So that's informative. Kate Beckinsale is the lead woman. Robin Williams is billed in front of Simon Pegg as Robin Williams plays a voice as a dog in this movie. Simon Pegg is the main character. And then Eddie Izzard is in it. And if you can, Rob Riggle makes an appearance. Oh, the Monty Python guys do the voices of the aliens. So that's kind of, I guess, maybe something to see. Ben, go ahead, because I know which direction you're going in. So you get to start.
Yeah,
and we get to
you
crucify.
already. Yeah, you already know which way I'm going.
I'm the one who added this to the list for one reason and one reason only.
No, it was not for one reason and one reason only. It was for many, many reasons. The many reasons are you have Robin Williams, Simon Pegg, Monty Python, Eddie Izzard. You have all of these things together in one film. To me, there's no question about it. I haven't seen anything but this trailer. This to me is a trash to treasure. I personally hope this gets an American release because I want to see this movie. You guys know how big of a Robin Williams fan I was and still am, and how big of a Monty Python and Simon Pegg fan I am, and how excited I was when I finally got the chance to meet Eddie Izzard. So this is like a culmination of all of my comedy, like, not icons, like with the exception of Robin Williams, who was my icon, but like this is just all of my favorite things in one film. So I cannot wait to see this movie. Now go ahead and crucify me.
Let's do
Let's
Lucky.
go to Lucky.
You go
Yeah.
first.
Sure, man. Well, I don't know. Okay, right out the gate, let's get it out of the way. The trailer makes it look as though it's just Bruce Almighty from Aliens,
Yep.
as opposed as instead of God, because it's British. And of course, here's the deal, though, dudes. Terry Jones directed this movie. Terry Jones of the Pythons, and who is a really an actually great director. I mean, he can also do some schlock, but he knows his way around a comedy. If the script is any good, and I have a feeling that the trailer isn't really giving us, I have a feeling it's trying to woo an American audience with, hey, you liked Bruce Almighty, so here's things like that we could piece together from this film. I think maybe it's a lot different and probably a lot racier giving it those dudes than this trailer makes it seem. So I'm going to go with Ben on this one.
I got lucky on my side. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Go on.
I know you guys want to burn it to the ground because it looks so easy to burn. But I say there's more to it than that.
You know what?
I've got to believe. I've got to believe in it.
This is a leave it in the dumpster for me. I won't give it a dumpster fire. This is the middle ground for me. Mainly because, like you said, going on the trailer alone, it essentially is a British version of Bruce Almighty with aliens. But hopefully you're right, and hopefully there's more to it. And I do see that. I could see it being a little racier too, and just basically taking what they did in Bruce Almighty and making it even funnier. So I could see that.
Yeah.
I actually have been convinced now that we've talked about it. So good for you guys, because I didn't realize who the director was, even though it's my segment. And I prefer the racier British humor, but I guess so what we're saying is if we rate the trailer is a dumpster fire because the trailer
are those two turds that walk across the floor and do a big dive in its toilet. The trailer's a piece of shit, but I think the film is going to be something different than that.
Which is the opposite of what a trailer's supposed to be, but
Right.
No.
I guess we've all convinced ourselves, so the trailer has essentially mind-fucked us and we're all going to go see the movie.
Yep.
The cast is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the movie's got potential. So I guess I'll go Treasure and make it a 3 with Adam having it in the can. So
hey man, if we have to eat our words, we have to eat our words. Who cares?
yeah, worth it. And that does officially close the lid on the trailer trash for the week.
Awesome. So, all right, we're going to move forward. We're going to do the next level news right now. We're going to push through that really quick so that we can get into the Age of Ultron and talk about some other summer movies and stuff like that. So, for right now, let's hit the next level news.
This is Next Level News.
All right, only 4 stories that we're going to go with this week, short of like the regular 5 or 6 that I usually do. This one just breaking today, actually. American Idol ending after season 15 on Fox. American Idol is finally coming to a close. The 15th and final season will premiere January 2016, and it's about 14 seasons too late, if you ask me. Jennifer Lopez, Harry Connick Jr., and Keith Urban will return as season 15 judges, along with host Ryan Seacrest. It's the right time to bring this run to a close, the CEO of Fox TV, Gary Newman, said in a conference call Tuesday. We really wanted to do it in a way that felt special and celebratory and send it off in a way that is as significant as the run it had on our network. So officially, American Idol will be ending after 15 seasons.
I wonder how Seacrest to make all the money now.
Dude, he has so many other things going on.
He owns the Kardashians.
Well, he's a big producer with the E! Network.
Yeah, exactly. Which
so
means he owns the Kardashians.
Pretty much. So he's going to have no issue making money in other ways. Plus, he's the new voice of American Top 40. He's not going anywhere. Game of Thrones breaks all-time TV piracy record. HBO's Game of Thrones has hit a new high, or low if you prefer, on the piracy meter with its latest episode. It has been downloaded more than 2.2 million times worldwide in less than 12 hours since airing on television.
I didn't see this week's yet, so don't tell me what happened.
Oh, so it's just this episode?
Yeah, just this episode is the one that broke the record. I haven't seen this week's either.
Oh, okay.
So. Good stuff. It's good stuff, guys.
Yeah, I gotta watch. I'll probably watch it when we're done recording this. So, the first pirated copies of episode 5 of the current season of HBO's popular fantasy epic showed up on file-sharing sites. Ooh, excuse me. shortly after its initial U.S. broadcast, 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday, according to piracy tracking firm Espico. I guess that's how you pronounce it. The 2.2 million individual internet addresses tracked by the firm were recorded as of 10 a.m. Eastern Time Monday. I still don't get why people don't just lend out their HBO Go accounts.
Seriously.
I mean, I know you're not really supposed to do it, but it's better than getting in trouble for piracy.
Yeah, it's better quality too.
Exactly. The Mallrats sequel is going to be called Mallbrats. This one actually has a little bit of a local feel to it, since it's... No, what?
I was going Brat Pack.
You're thinking Brat Pack. So,
man, that was a deep stretch, man. That was for me, I think. Just me and me alone. I'm laughing at the attempt. It was a good attempt.
Thank you.
I applaud it.
Yeah, but as I was saying, this one has a little bit of a local touch for us, because there's rumor that it's going... Well, local for me, at least where I am, because there's rumor that it's going to be filming at a mall that's about 15 minutes away from me.
Camp Russia?
No, Granite Run, which is recently closed. So, but anyway, the Mallrats are back, and they're bringing along some brats for their next film. Kevin Smith revealed on Monday that the Mallrats sequel will actually be called Mallbrats, rather than sticking a 2 after the original title or giving it a subtitle. Right now, the film script comes in at 113 pages. The title likely indicates a new crop of rats that will be featured in the film. And Smith has also stated that he plans for the 18 returning characters to appear along with 6 new ones as well. So,
when's that supposed to come out?
I think it's supposed to start filming later on this year for a late 2016 release. And finally, leading into our next conversation, Ant-Man.
Talk about that at all? Really? We're going to let that one slip by?
We can.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Well, Ben's not great at the reins, so Lucky, you have the reins.
Nobody wants this movie. Who wants this movie?
I'm a big Kevin Smith fan, so I'm kind of excited.
Really? You want Mallrats 2, man?
No, I don't want Mallrats 2. I want Mallbrats, damn it.
Hey, come on. He doesn't have any... He can't get out of the mall in the clerk aisle. Come on. Come on.
Well, what I love too is, didn't he say like 2 years ago he was going making one more movie and then he was done? He was going to concentrate more on the podcasting and stuff like that.
Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back, he was done with that universe. Remember that? Remember that speech? And Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back was a great movie. It was great. It was the end. That's all we needed. That was as good as you could do in that world, man.
I will say, however, though, that I was actually, as much as I was very skeptical about it, I enjoyed Clerks 2.
Really?
I did.
Oh, man, I thought it was god-awful. God, I was so disappointed. And I was actually looking forward to it, but man, I was so disappointed. And I really like Mallrats, but
What would you rather have? Mallbrats or Paul Blart 3?
Paul Blart 3 in a heartbeat.
God. Well, that just goes to show you how bad you don't want Mallbrats.
One Thanksgiving, it was just me and a buddy of mine from Dad's Garage Theater, and I cooked a big dinner, and we watched Paul Blart Mall Cop just to see how stupid it was, and had a blast ripping it to shreds while we watched it. So I love that Paul Blart 2 came out and died so horribly.
Yeah, it really did.
I can only hope for a third.
I actually tweeted at Kevin Smith like about a year or two ago that they should make a sequel to it called Paul Blart Undercover. And I don't know whatever came out of it. And nothing came out of it, obviously, except for a horrible sequel where he's in Vegas or at a casino, I think.
He's like at a convention, I think it is.
Is it a convention?
Yeah, it's like a mall cop convention or some stupid thing.
A mall cop convention.
Well, there's stripper conventions. You're damn right. There's mall cop conventions.
I wonder what the mall cop award is called.
The Segway?
I bet Segway wouldn't even sponsor those awards. They'd be like, come on, mall cops, you should be able to walk through the mall.
All right, moving on to the final story of the Next Level News, and a good transition into our conversation. Ant-Man Black Panther to appear in Captain America Civil War. Captain America's name may be the title of Captain America Civil War, but he's just one of several superheroes scheduled to appear in the comic book adventure. Paul Rudd, the star of the summer's Ant-Man, will appear alongside the Star-Spangled Warrior. So will Chadwick Boseman, who will be making his first appearance as Black Panther. Captain America Civil War is hotly anticipated because it's rumored to follow a throwdown between Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr.'s Captain America. So,
I think there's going to be more superheroes in this than there are in the Avengers. Maybe X-Men.
Well, I mean, I think it's a good point to wrap up Next Level News, so that's going to be the end of Next Level News. But I'm curious, just to start this conversation off, I want to send it over to Lucky. I'm assuming you had an opportunity to see Age of Ultron.
Oh, yeah.
What we had already discussed it, at least what we thought of it. I'm curious now as to what your thoughts are.
I had a blast. It was not a great film, but it sure was a fun movie. I had a great time sitting there watching superheroes beat up bad guys and each other. That Hulkbuster fight is just spectacular. It was action from the get-go, and they didn't explain anything. And, it was just corny. They went for a lot of humor, which I thought was great. And just a lot of melodrama, which was really goofy. The build of Hawkeye's gonna die, just so preposterously over the top. When he's like getting on the little escape ship and turns around and sees that kid, and he's like, well, I guess I gotta go. Like, he's got a wife and kids nobody knew about all of a sudden. What? What?
I should preface this whole discussion that we're going to spoil stuff, so if you haven't seen it yet, you should have already, so that's your fault. Shame on you. But skip ahead a few minutes.
I loved it, man. But it was just over the top. But I really love over the top, so I thought it was great.
Yeah, Steve and I were talking afterwards, and we said so we went to like an 8 o'clock Thursday night showing or something. So there was like an 11 o'clock or something after that. And we were saying we should have went up to everybody in line and said, it really sucks when Hawkeye dies. Because
And so the build-up is, God damn it!
He's right.
Why did that guy have to say something?
The whole time with that build-up, they're just like waiting for it.
Although I have to say, when it turns out to be who it is,
you can say it.
Even go.
We warned.
The spoiler. The audience was like, "Oh no!" I was like, "Wow, really? Wow."
Yeah. Our audience
Who
is
knew
like
anybody
that too,
liked that guy?
Yeah, our audience did that too.
I don't care if. I don't care. It's fucking Quicksilver. That's who dies. Shut up.
I guess that's why put him in the other X-Men film, because he was in 10 seconds.
Dude, in the X-Men film, I love that Quicksilver. That guy's great.
Yeah, he was awesome.
I could watch that scene again and again and again of him
just
running around that room.
Oh, in the
That is
kitchen.
probably one of the
Fucking with all those guards.
scenes.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the best scenes in that movie. Is Quicksilver around the kitchen.
She's so good. So good.
But yeah, I mean, it looks what you said. It looks like there's going to be a lot of people. I think, all the Avengers are coming back for Captain America.
The new ones aren't they? Or no, I guess all of them are. They're setting up the whole Civil War time thing and whatever. But wasn't Rwanda and all that supposed to be in Avengers? Wasn't there supposed to be 1 million cameos in this one too, on top of the ones we already got?
I heard most of the cameos weren't going to be happening until Captain America.
Oh, okay.
So, but I mean, I'm looking at the cast here for Captain America, and I mean, and the cast is ridiculous. You've got Emily Van Camp as Agent 13 from Winter Soldier coming back. Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes is coming back. Daniel Bruhl as Baron Zemo. Frank Grillo as Crossbones from Winter Soldier's coming back. William Hurt as General Thaddeus from Incredible Hulk is coming back. Martin Freeman is going to be starring in this one. We don't know what role he's going to be in yet. Scarlett Johansson, Anthony Mackie, Paul Bettany, Jeremy Renner, Don Cheadle, Elizabeth Olsen. And Spider-Man. Whoever they cast to play Spider-Man is going to be in this movie.
In Captain America?
In Captain America. Spider-Man is a key character to the plot line of the Civil War.
I never read it.
So he's kind of like the go-between. He's like the guy that Captain America and Iron Man are kind of tugging in both directions as to get on their side. So when Sony announced that Spider-Man was going to be added, that they were loaning Spider-Man to Marvel Studios to be in Civil War, I was thrilled because I didn't know how they were going to do it without Spider-Man's character.
Huh.
So, but they haven't cast him yet, so I don't know. All we know is that he's going to be a relatively young Spider-Man, like high school age Spider-Man.
Yeah, they were thinking it was going to be not Peter Parker, but what's the other one?
It's not going to be Miles Morales.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people were thinking initially.
That's what I was kind of hoping it was going to be.
Yeah, why not, man?
Yeah, at this point.
Yeah, at this point, why not? We've already had so many Peter Parkers. Why not go with another kid? We'll get into him. We just want to see the suit jumping around, you know? That's like, nobody's going to care if it's a hilarious Hispanic kid or a hilarious white kid. Like, nobody cares.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
I'd say it'd be
just
Miles.
make him cool, man.
I'd say Miles Teller's on the up and up, but he's already in the new Fantastic Four movie.
Oh, man, what do you guys think about that? Are we going into this?
We're going into whatever.
Yep. We're going into all the potential Marvel future.
I don't know what to... I want it to be good. But I don't know. I don't think it's going to be.
Yeah, we talked...
The trailer trashed that last week.
How?
Last week or 2 weeks ago?
It might have been 2 weeks
ago. It was recently. I know that.
Yeah.
They should just release the Roger Corman one and go for it. Like, it's the only one that even gets close.
I mean,
sadly enough.
It can't be any worse than the last two. Can it?
They were so bad.
Bad. No, they can't be. They can't be.
Yeah.
The only good thing in the first one was Captain America.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It was the only good thing in it.
So
second one had no good thing in it.
No. Well, they attempted Silver Surfer, and they could have done it so much better.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
bad.
Galactus was like a cloud or something. Like
Yeah.
you didn't even get to see him.
I don't know what was worse, that or Green Lantern. They're just...
Well, now we're going into DC properties.
It doesn't matter.
We can talk all day.
Talking about bad comic book movies.
Yeah, DC sadly can't get it together.
What did you think, Lucky? Did you see the trailer for Batman v Superman?
I mean, can you call that a trailer?
I said, yeah, I got one.
I mean, it's just little shots of images, kind of. So who knows, man? You know what? I didn't mind that Superman. I think the whole darkening of him is dumb, but like I kind of get it. But the carnage was unbelievable in it. But I thought the fights were fun. You know, those were some super powered fights going on. And you know, all the sci-fi shit. Like I really dug Krypton. So, you know, there's a certain place for Zack Snyder movies. I mean, you know, 300 blew everybody's mind. Everybody wants him to make another one of those. So maybe it'll be this one.
Well, I thought he did make another one and it failed miserably. Didn't they do like Rise of...
Yeah, but it wasn't him. It was just like, you know, he executive produced it or whatever. He didn't direct it.
Oh, I agree there's a place for Zack Snyder, but Superman was not there.
Yeah,
I wasn't happy with Man of Steel.
With DC, they're such bright, iconic characters. You kind of have to go... You got to get out of this super moody thing. One of the things that made Guardians so great was just the bright colors of it all.
Yeah.
And that's what DC needs. It needs bright, iconic colors, not this muted, dark, everybody's sad and brooding. That's always been Marvel's bag, you know? Marvel's thing is the heroes that suffer, and DC's is, you know, heroes that are kind of corny, but great. You know, we love them because they're corny.
But I think DC had come out and said that they didn't want to do the lighthearted thing. They wanted to take a different approach because they didn't want to be like Marvel. But it's not working.
the lightheartedness is what makes Flash such a great TV show, and it is good.
Yeah, it's such a good show.
Because he's fun. I like watching him because he's like a good time. And that's what it should be. They should be fun to watch. It's like Arrow is really just a Batman TV show, and it's still like a little too dark and gritty. It's like so much wailing and gnashing of the teeth.
So far behind on both of those shows. I'm like 4 episodes behind.
Oh yeah, I'm so terrible with episodic television in general. I always just lose interest after a few episodes.
I think especially with DC, these like the Batman movies really is what it kind of, and not even just with DC, it kind of set off this whole like dark trend.
Well,
that's what Batman is. Like if there is a dark DC character, that's Batman.
Yeah, but you go back to Schumacher went way the hell too over the top with it. But like the Burton ones, I thought Michael Keaton was a terrible choice for Batman. But other than that, I thought Tim Burton's, it was campy. They were goofy. That second one is great. Yeah, that's a great movie with Penguin and Catwoman. It's awesome. Yeah, it's so over the top.
I actually didn't mind Keaton as Batman. He's probably one of my favorite Batmans.
He's too short. He's a tiny little Batman. Batman can't be 5'4". Batman needs to be like 6'2".
Better than George Clooney.
Scary.
That is true.
That's a pipsqueak and a rubber suit, and he can't turn his head. He has to turn his entire torso. It's like too much. Just give him a cloth suit. Who cares? He's Batman. Let him roll around.
It's like somebody with a neck brace on.
Yeah. All the time. Until the Dark Knight. Like, the goddamn... Any movie Batman couldn't turn his head until the second Nolan movie. Jesus Christ. How could they not get it right? Adam West turned the shit out of him.
Didn't they even made a statement toward it, didn't they? That he said he needed to be able to turn his head? Like, wasn't that even a line?
You're like, yeah. Oh, so you want to turn your head, huh? Like, yeah, that would have been nice all the time.
You want to be able to look around you?
I'm a guy jumping around buildings and shit.
Speaking of casting for like Batman and such, what do we think about Jared Leto as Joker for Suicide Squad?
I was okay with it until I saw the picture that he put out.
Yeah, but then they redacted the picture or something saying it was just a thing, whatever. I mean, that sounds like they're scrambling to change it all, which... Yeah. Hey man, if the internet could guide it and force them to change it, then maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the guy could act it. It's probably a Joker. He'll probably take a real fresh, weird turn with it, which I think will be nice.
Nobody's completely
I don't think he's going to try to do Heath Ledger's.
And nobody's petrified that he can't do it as well because nobody would be able to do it as well as Heath Ledger. So they just keep bringing the Joker back.
But Heath Ledger's was so... just that universe, you know what I mean? It was a dude with makeup on. It wasn't a guy that fell into a vat of acid.
That's right.
Which I feel like Snyder could get away with doing. And the universe that he's building, and I'm assuming, now that they've spotted Affleck in Toronto, where one of them's shooting or whatever, there's going to be a crossover or something with Suicide Squad and apparently the new Batman.
There's gonna be everybody in that Batman movie.
Yeah. So it's not even a Batman movie; it's a Superman movie.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Batman. And there's all these rumors of people. Maybe Jared Leto's gonna be in it. Maybe this, maybe that. So much stuff that's like, Jesus, man, is there gonna be any movie? It's just gonna be introducing.
And I
don't know. I think he could probably do something. I think he has the chops to do something fresh with it that'll make it cool. Just as long as the design on it is good. All they got to do is not fuck it up.
Yeah,
that's it.
I actually heard a rumor too while I was at Comic-Con this weekend that Batman might actually be the antagonist for Suicide Squad. Like he might actually be the villain in Suicide Squad, but the movie might take that
I
turn.
hope it's an entire movie from the villain's point of view. It would be awesome.
I think that'd be fantastic.
So do I.
When I saw the picture of Will Smith as Deadshot, he looked like his character from Wild Wild West. Looks stupid.
I think the I think the person, though, out of that entire cast and out of the entire cast picture that I saw, I think the person who's probably going to steal that movie, believe it or not, is Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn.
I think that's what everybody's expecting to have happen, right? Harley is... I mean, you throw Harley Quinn into anything without the Joker really being... I mean, how much is the Joker really going to be in it? I bet not that much. Not with that many people in that film. They're not going to be able to concentrate on the Joker that much. That dude will have like a couple of scenes, I bet.
Yeah, it'll be a crowd pleaser type of thing.
Yeah, it's got to be. They're just going to... Because, come on, man. Like, who's Will Smith? Will Smith is really going to share all that screen time and all that. Like, you know that guy's ego is monumental. Scientology did it to him. I've seen that movie on HBO.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's a legit fear, is that people were worried that Suicide Squad is going to turn into a Will Smith movie and not an ensemble cast movie.
Well, it's, you know, what all he's done lately are these horrible vanity projects with his kids, you know, like what is he, like, he hasn't given us much to go on lately to have much faith in him, you know what I mean? The guy used to be awesome.
Yeah.
Then he started doing all these psycho movies.
Yeah,
It's not psycho, they're just bad movies trying to make his kids stars, his crackpot kid.
I guess that is what he's doing.
God.
His kids are nuts.
After Earth was so bad.
So bad. I don't even think I made it a half an hour through it.
Oh my God. I had it on.
Like I couldn't.
I had it on when we first moved and I was putting furniture together, and I got that thing put together probably in 15 minutes because I didn't pay any attention to the movie. It was so bad.
And then Oblivion, I think, suffered because of it because it came out at the same time and it was kind of the same premise. What was that?
I heard it too.
That was mine. I'll take that out.
All right. That Tom Cruise movie, Oblivion, came out at that same time and it was great.
Really?
That's what I heard, and I haven't seen either one of them.
I
have to. I do want to see Oblivion. I just haven't had a chance to yet.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good.
So, switching back over to the Marvel side, the next movie coming out, which I'm looking forward to, is Ant-Man. So basically, because I'm a big Paul Rudd fan, so I'm very excited. I was more excited when I found out that Edgar Wright was going to be directing, because I'm an even bigger Edgar Wright fan. So when he dropped, out, I was kind of bummed. But after seeing the trailer, I think my anticipation has built back up for this movie. So, but I mean, Edgar Wright. I mean, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, World's End.
That's all. Pretty much all that movie had going for it was that it was his dream project for so long, and he was finally getting to do it, and then he wasn't allowed to do it the way he wanted to, and had to bail on it. So I got to walk into this one cautiously. And Judy Greer's in it. You know,
yeah, she plays his wife.
Good buddy of mine.
Oh yeah, she's
and,
a friend of yours.
Yeah, and you know, she's always amazing, but I don't think her role's that giant. But I hope. Who directed it? I don't even know who directed it. Who?
Peyton Reed.
Who's he?
I don't know. I'm on IMDb.
Yeah, I don't know. If he, hopefully he'll have the chops. The trailer was fun, but again, trailers can be very deceiving, man.
I heard that I'm not all that not necessarily into, but I'm not familiar with Ant-Man. But he's playing somebody different, right? Isn't Michael Douglas?
Michael Douglas plays the original.
Right, so this is like
Michael Douglas is
Ant-Man or something?
the guy who invents the suit and all that kind of stuff. And it's comic book continuity. They're going with the second Ant-Man, the guy who picks up the mantle. Okay. Hank Pym goes crazy and shit. Like, the suit drives him insane, and he becomes a villain for a while and all that kind of stuff. So
does that anger anyone who is into the Ant-Man story? Like, they want
no.
Instead of
I think the second Ant-Man is just as, if not more popular than Hank Pym was. So, you know, it's one of those, like, either Ant-Man will do. And so they're going with the fun one. And, of course, Paul Rudd, he's amazing. Just, you know, I mean, this one I think is going to depend on the tone and the look of the film. It's going to be how much fun, because it is so ridiculous. Like, it's a man who shrinks.
That's true.
I love the train scene.
So, it's got to be, and that's what Edgar Wright was sure to bring to it, was just fun. Like visually, it was going to be astounding and so much fun. He was the only guy to direct Scott Pilgrim, which I think was brilliant, save for Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, I love that movie.
And not that I don't like Michael Cera, but Michael Cera does Michael Cera very well, and he doesn't do other characters.
Yeah.
That's why he was so good in This Is the End.
Scott Pilgrim is a punk, and Michael Cera is not a punk. And other than that, that movie was spot on.
By the way, Peyton Reed directed
there you go.
Bring It On and Yes Man.
And The Breakup.
Oh boy.
So if you guys want to freak out about a director, then...
Wasn't the very first Bring It On supposed to be a lot of fun?
It actually was. I enjoyed it. I saw it.
I want to say that was like one of those unexpected, like, you know what? That was actually a pretty good movie.
It was the Magic Mike of its era.
Right.
I was actually going to say it was that decade's Pitch Perfect.
Yeah, so maybe he's got some chops. I don't know. Maybe he's always wanted to do a superhero movie, and now's his chance to shine. Who knows? Yeah,
looks
good. But yeah,
I hope because Marvel knocks it out of the park time after time, and so I hope they don't mess it up with Ant-Man because nobody wants to see Paul Rudd fail. That guy's awesome.
No. It's true. No, but I mean, we had mentioned this before too, or in an earlier podcast, and Lucky, you had just brought it up again too. This is the first time Marvel's actually going with the second character. Every other origin story we've seen, it's been the first Thor, it's been the first. I mean, there's only been one Iron Man, but there's been a number of.
But they've already got roadies hanging around, and they're setting up for Bucky to take over for Cap. Like a lot of it's getting set up. It's great, and it's also a good argument for that for the other Spider-Man to be the guy.
Yeah, exactly. For a chance for Peter Parker to hand the reins over to Miles Morales at some point.
Especially with the new, the last thing in the Avengers is them showing the new Avengers because it's like, okay, we're retiring, we're old.
Yeah.
You can see you got certain profile shots. You can see Robert Downey Jr. looking like an old guy. Okay, bye. It's great. Good for them.
Do you think after Infinity War they're gonna? They're going to hand it over to like a younger cast maybe and continue it on a little bit, maybe in a different direction?
Dude, if Vision is the head of it, I could watch that guy all day long. Like that. He came in late in the film, but man, it was worth the wait.
Absolutely.
So perfect. I've always loved that character, and that he's Paul Bettany's. The transformation from Jarvis over to him is just so great.
I thought it was really cool. It was really seamless type of thing.
Aside from that movie where he was like an angel of some sort, he's been really good in most things that he's done. Legion, I think is what it was called.
Legion, right. You know what else he did? And the only reason I know about this movie is because I did a commercial with puppets for it for Adult Swim before it came out. There was a movie called Priest where he was like a vampire killer or something.
Yes. Yeah.
I never saw it, but we had to watch the trailer again and again because we did with puppets.
Well, that was back when like the vampire. I mean, it still kind of is, but that was when it was like really the hot movie.
Face. Yeah, that kind of is. Is it dead? Can we call it dead? Is it dead?
It's getting there. I think.
What's next? I can't believe Zombies is still hanging on, man. It's about to die.
Well, it'll be on until Zombieland 2 at least, I guess.
Walking Dead, is that still a big popular show? Do people still freak out about it like they used to?
They sure do. Walking Dead beats football on Sunday nights.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's my reaction.
Wow, yeah, so I guess zombies are still strong, huh?
Yeah. I mean, it's so big that the show's getting a spin-off. Oh yeah, iZombie on CW is on right now.
Too, right?
Yeah, it just got renewed for a second season.
CW is another network that basically just renews everything every year.
For
like 10 years.
Yeah. Man, that's where I got to end up.
on CW?
Well, you're already on FX, dude. That's the
FX doesn't cancel stuff either, remember?
Yeah, but FX, they demand a certain amount of quality.
Yeah, CW just...
CW, I feel like all you got to do is show up with an idea and a headshot, and they'll put the show on.
Or Or be a guy with abs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, Robbie
Stuff
Amell
they
got
get
his
away
own
with.
show.
Robbie Amell, Jensen Ackles, Jared Padalecki, Stephen Amell. You just have to have abs or quality. Going back real quick to Paul Bettany too. One of them, a character that I always loved him was Geoffrey Chaucer in A Knight's Tale.
It's the best.
That's so good.
Oh yeah, brilliant.
I love that character.
It's such a great movie.
Yeah. So real quick, I guess we'll wrap up this conversation. There's a couple other movies coming out this summer we can run through real quick. Are there any that we can think of off the top of our heads that we're looking forward to more than another one?
Mad Max Thursday night. What? Mad Max all the way. Come on.
I haven't seen the originals yet. I shouldn't have said that. Oh, crap.
Hold on, I'm vomiting.
I killed him.
What?
That was my
you never
reaction
seen
too.
The Road Warrior?
No,
How do you have a podcast about movies? What?
I ask myself that every week, actually.
George Mill. No, even Thunderdome, which is so goofy.
It's so goofy.
It was made,
it's
around
great.
the same time as Return of the Jedi, so it's that form of goofy. It's like the kids are gonna save everything, but it's great. It's so good.
So actually, if we go back to one of the segments that we do before is the box office, and I think Adam, you and I both had Avengers still beating Mad Max this weekend. Do you think that would not be true, Lucky?
Oh boy, yeah, I think Mad Max can topple it. I think it's the right time to do another Mad Max movie. You know, George Miller has been talking about doing this one forever, man.
Yeah.
And he, I think, finally waited until he can do it right. And I think Tom Hardy is the perfect guy to step into it. And I feel like Avengers has had such a gigantic 2 weekends that everybody who's already seen the Avengers will gladly shove into Mad Max so quickly.
That's what we weren't sure about. We weren't sure if there's going to be some leftovers still of the Avengers.
I think so, man. We have Dragon Con here every year. And one of the biggest sections of the parade that happens every year is all the Mad Max guys. And they have like vehicles from the Road Warrior, like that look exactly like with the guys strapped to the front and everything. Just amazing.
Oh, that is awesome.
It's one of the biggest things, and it's one of the things that gets the biggest crowd reaction. Just because it's been a good long time, and all the buzz on this thing is that it's spectacular.
That's what I've been hearing too.
Yeah.
I love Tom Hardy, though.
Me too, man. That guy is amazing.
He's so good.
Yeah.
He has that. Did you see? We talked about it last week. The new trailer. What's Steve? What's the new movie that's coming out? Where he's the twins?
Where he plays both.
Oh my God! Yeah, where he's those the criminal twins. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
It's called Legend. He plays the Cray twins.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait to see that thing.
Yeah.
And he's actually come out and said that he wants to play off the note of Netflix's Daredevil. They're working on a Punisher adaptation through Netflix as well, and he's come out and said he wants to play Punisher.
He would be a good Punisher.
I just read something today where he said he was in talks. Oh wait, is it him? That was in it. That Tom Hardy wants to play the Punisher.
I thought that's who I read wanted to play it. Maybe it was somebody else.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's an article.
I just read something today too that somebody was in talks with maybe DC about something. I'm probably mixing up my news stories.
Yeah, it is Tom Hardy. He's working on some big DC comics.
Yeah, DC. Yeah, I don't know what that could be.
I don't know. I'd like to see Thomas Jane come back and play Punisher again.
Yeah, me
if they
too,
ever did
man.
something.
He was great. That little fan film that they did.
Oh my God, that was
just
so
doing
good.
Laundry was so awesome.
That was so good.
Great.
So I was a big fan of Thomas Jane as Punisher. I'd like to see him come back.
Me too. I think that guy deserves a better film than he had the first time around. And it wasn't bad. It just wasn't. It didn't have the right amount of punch. I don't know.
No. If you have you had a chance to check out Daredevil yet on Netflix?
Dude, I've watched like half of it, and I think it's amazing. But again, I'll get so far into a thing, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to take a break for a minute, and then I've got to come back around. It's always on my list of I got to dive back in.
Well, that's exactly where I am too.
I'll watch Vincent D'Onofrio be weird any day. Like that guy's such a great weirdo. I love him.
I couldn't think of any better casting for, like, I was a little thrown off at first when I heard about it, but after seeing him do the role of Kingpin, like, it's just, I couldn't think of anybody better who could play that part.
Yeah, it's great because, the thing about Kingpin is he's menacing, but in the comic books he's menacing because he's like gigantic. Like, he can't fit through a normal doorway. Like, he's so giant. And so to make him a human and super menacing, it's so great to have him play him because he's just weird.
Yeah.
He's just unsettling and too quiet and quirky and he's creepy. I love
him. Real quick, Adam and Steve, what movies other than ones we've discussed are you looking forward to this summer?
Doesn't Jurassic World come out this summer?
Yes.
I guess I'll name that one. I would have said Star Wars, but that's not till December. Which I just want to point out real quick for Star, and I meant to mention this last week, but I have a feeling, and Star Wars looks good, don't get me wrong, but I have a feeling like between you know how we compared Star Wars and Avengers before? If one of them, and I guess I should have said this before I watched Avengers, but if one of them had the opportunity to be more disappointing than the other, I would feel like Star Wars has the biggest opportunity to be the bigger disappointment.
Because of the hype?
Because of the hype, because how bad the episodes 1 through 3 were.
I'll tell you what Star Wars has going for it, which is J.J. Abrams, and he will bring a completely different feel to this world than we've had, and I think it'll be a good feel. And I think the change will be a positive enough one to take care of any, like, I mean, all the Star Wars movies are kind of corny movies. It's just that he lost any sense of, I don't know, reality with human beings for the first one. So the scenes between humans were just dreadful. Everything was pretty to look at, but it was just like, oh my God, what are they doing? They can't act.
Yeah, I love
it. Can't act. None of them. Natalie Portman can't even act in this, and she's amazing.
She's an actual actress.
I think JJ is one of the few guys, if I see that he's doing like a TV show, I think he did like Alcatraz. When I saw that he was doing it, I gave it a chance just because his name was attached to it.
Right. I don't know. I love all of his films, man. I think his films are great.
We'll have to. We'll see if we can get you back on when that movie comes out.
Yeah, anytime.
On for all the blockbusters.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I did a Star Wars fan panel at Comic-Con this weekend, which was a lot of fun. But the other two guys that I had on the panel, who I've known already for a while, but I did have my eyes opened a little bit to a couple things for the first original 3 parts, episodes 1 through 3. Granted, I still am not extremely thrilled with those movies, but there are a couple things about those movies that my eyes were opened up to, and I guess I gained a little bit more appreciation for those movies, but they're still not like favorites of mine.
What was open to you? I'm curious.
Well, I mean, one of the things that was brought about, like the sound editing especially for episode 1, with like the wall from the pod race and things like that. Like the sound editing is fantastic. The visuals are great, as Lucky had mentioned. Nothing was enlightened on the acting. The acting is just horrible. And as much as we hate the character, Jar Jar was pretty much brought in for the kids. Like, it wasn't for us adults and us fans of the originals.
It's a big dumb goofball.
Yeah. Stepping in, what was it, Gungam?
Yeah, whatever. I don't know. Bantha doo-doo.
Yeah, something around that.
A never-ending hole.
But yeah, Jurassic World is probably the one I'm looking forward to as well. So,
yeah, the third one was on TV this past week. I watched it and remembered again that it took them 3 movies to put pterodactyls into the Jurassic Park. But at least they're in this one, I know.
Now, what's the deal on this new one? It's Chris Pratt and the Raptors going against this new hybrid thing, right? That's what's going on?
Yeah.
Apparently,
riding on some dinosaurs and some shit. Is this going to be like the mind-blowingest, crazy movie ever? Like, just
Wait,
It's gonna be preposterous.
you know your friend Judy Greer is also
Yeah.
in this one, so you could have just asked her what the
Oh
movie's
my
about.
God, she's in everything. You know, she's Caesar's queen in the Planet of the Apes movies. Did you know that?
Really?
That, you know, what was the last Planet of the Apes movie?
Dawn?
It was Dawn. Dawn. She gave birth or whatever. She's the sick like wife of Caesar who gives birth and all that shit. It's Judy.
Yeah.
She's in all the bigs. Oh, she's so awesome. I love
She
her.
is awesome.
She's in Tomorrowland coming up too.
Yep, she's in that.
Yep. So yeah, she's everywhere.
Ah,
We'll get to talk to her eventually too.
yeah. I'll shit. I barely even talk to her, but I'll tell her to do this.
There we go. What do you say we move on to some of these TV shows? We'll switch from movies to TV.
Let's push through these real quick since we're almost at like 2 hours.
Yeah, I'll just run through the list and then we can just make comments as we go. I'll start with some of the with the networks. We'll go through what was canceled, what was renewed, and what they have coming premiered through the summer. And then if anybody has any comments along the way, we'll speak up as we go. We'll start off with Fox. Starting off with the canceled shows. Only got one season. I'm very bummed about this because we already spoke to 2 people from the show, and I was a fan of it. But Backstrom has already been canceled after 1 season.
Kristoffer Polaha, we just talked to about it. And as you can tell from the interview, it was a couple days ago because he didn't know yet.
Yeah, that's true. And Thomas Dekker, who Steve and I spoke with a couple weeks ago. The Following, canceled after 3 seasons. Glee after 6 seasons, which we kind of knew was coming. They had announced that. Grace Point after its first season. Hieroglyphic canceled before it even premiered. The Mindy Project, which I'm very happy about because I think television is so oversaturated with Mindy Kaling right now. I'm so annoyed by her. Mulaney, which we called after first season. Red Band Society and Utopia.
I thought Red Band Society got canceled like 3 years ago. We were talking about that being canceled like back in the fall.
Well, it couldn't have been 3 years ago because we've only been doing a podcast for a year and a half, Adam.
Yeah, it was an exaggeration, Ben.
Oh, sorry. Renewed for Fox, though, is Bob's Burgers. So I don't know if Lucky has ever done a voice on Bob's Burgers or not. I know it's connected with Archer.
I have not.
Oh, okay. I hope maybe there's a possibility you could. Maybe down the road.
Are you saying it's getting canceled? What did you say?
No, it got renewed.
Bob's Burgers got renewed.
Oh, yeah. They're all buddies of mine. I love those guys.
Yeah. I think they were just in
their show, you know. We share John.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're all buddies, so, you know, at all the little events and all that shit, we hang out.
And I think
the Archer and Bob squad are one big team.
By the way, on that note, too, I love the episode of Archer that was kind of like a Bob's Burgers crossover.
Yeah, where he has amnesia.
Yeah, and he woke up as Bob. It was great.
Yeah.
Bones got renewed for a season 11, which we spoke to TJ Thine from Bones, and he wasn't aware yet that it was getting renewed.
What is that? Yeah, is that Brooklyn show with Angel? Is that show?
Yeah. Yep.
Let's see. He seems like a charming fellow, that David Boreanaz.
We almost had an opportunity to.
Yeah, he's a Philly guy. Ben, did you see him at Comic-Con?
He was not there this year.
I wasn't there this year. Usually he comes into town.
He always seems like he's a pretty cool guy. No? I don't know. Am I wrong? Has he got a rep?
I agree.
I think I don't think he has a bit. Whenever I hear him he comes on the local stations all the time, so.
Yeah, I've seen him on a couple of interviews, and he always seems to be really super charming. And I'm like, oh, that guy just seems like a nice guy. You'd like to hang around.
Yeah.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine renewed for a season 3.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people thought much of that show when it first premiered, or before it premiered.
It was such a hit after it did, though.
I think people just like to make fun of Andy Samberg.
That could be.
Yeah, it's the trailers made it look like it's a big dumb slapsticky thing, and
and it's not. That's one of my favorite shows, or comedies at least.
Yeah.
It's not like that at all. Yeah.
Yeah. No surprise, Empire coming back for a second season. I know, wasn't it like the highest rated show Fox has ever had?
Yeah.
Gotham coming back for a season 2.
Family Guy for a
Oh, brilliant.
Family Guy for a season 14. One of my favorite shows on Fox right now, Last Man on Earth, coming back for a second season. Lucky, have you had a chance to check that one out?
Yeah, it's amazing.
I think it's so good.
Such great television.
MasterChef and MasterChef Junior both returning, as well as New Girl. Simpsons renewed for 2 more seasons, 27th and 28th. And 27 seasons, man. That's crazy.
Those are full seasons, too. That's nuts.
And to imagine it all started as a short on Tracy Ullman.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
brilliant.
And
Almost as long as I've been alive. That's impressive.
Well, I mean, people say there's not really a generation right now that doesn't know The Simpsons.
Yeah, that's the writers on that show don't know the world without The Simpsons. Like they grew up with it. You know, it was always on.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Unbelievable.
And finally, Sleepy Hollow returning for a season 3. To be determined right now. Some of these have actually come out. They had American Idol, Hell's Kitchen, World's Funniest Fails, and Weird Loners, which American Idol we just found out is going to be finishing up after season 15, and Weird Loners was canceled. So, unfortunately. What was that, Adam?
What? No, we're not that surprised about Weird Loners, but we were still pulling for it.
Yeah. And a summer show that's going to be premiering on Fox, which I had an opportunity to see. We have access to the first 5 episodes, but I actually got to watch at Comic-Con this weekend, the pilot plus a Q&A with M. Night, Wayward Pines with Matthew Dillon. And let me tell you, this show's fantastic. I'm so looking forward to this 10-episode run of this show.
I've been hoping M. Night comes back with something good for a while, so...
I got to call timeout. What channel is the X-Files on? The
It's on Fox, but...
X-Files coming back like next month.
No, is it next month? I don't think it's till the fall.
Oh, damn it.
Because I think they postponed it for later on in the year.
The X-Files was coming back next month. We'd be hearing a lot about it.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I'm sure Fox would already be running ads if it was coming back. So, moving on to ABC with their canceled shows. Christella after 1 season, no surprise there. Forever after 1 season. Manhattan Love Story after 1 season. Members Only, which is another show canceled before it premiered. Resurrection after 2 seasons. Revenge after 4. Selfie after 1 season. And The Taste after 3 seasons. But a long list of renewals, actually, starting off with...
Couple.
With the renewals, yeah, I'll just go.
Everything else is renewed.
Yeah.
America's Funniest Home Videos for a 26th season.
Jesus God, come on, really? Really? Really?
Why don't you? I mean, they could get away with just running Bob Saget reruns at this point.
Yeah.
Who hosts it?
It's isn't it the same guy?
Bob Erjavon?
Yeah, I thought it was Tom Bergeron.
Oh,
Tom Bergeron.
Oh my
That's it,
God,
yeah.
is it really?
Yeah, he's still hosting.
Oh. Oh, that's so sad.
Freshman comedy Blackish returning for a 2nd season. Castle for a season 8. Another freshman one, Fresh Off the Boat for a season 2. One I'm very excited about just because I love goofball shows like this. Gallivant returning for a 2nd season.
Oh yeah, that was supposed to be good.
I loved it. It was so good. Timothy Olmanson is just fantastic as that kind of goofy, off-the-wall king. And the music's not bad. It's very humorous.
Hey, man,
So-
yeah, why not? Why not have goofy musicals on?
Exactly. Grey's Anatomy for season 12. That's not going to last long without McDreamy. Or
Jesus
whoever
Christ,
the hell.
that show's still on? Are you kidding me?
They just killed
that
Patrick
was a
Dempsey.
big deal so many girlfriends ago. Like, you have no idea how many girlfriends ago that was. So many.
Yeah, like Steve said, spoiler alert, they just killed Patrick Dempsey. So I can't imagine that. I gotta think the end is near. I have a feeling the last episode they'll kill Meredith Grey.
Everyone.
Just everybody dies.
It'll be a dream of a boy in a snow globe.
It turns out that the hospital Grey works at is the hospital that the Joker blew up in The Dark Knight.
That's right.
No, they'll all be zombies, and it'll spin off into that L.A. Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead. That's true.
Fear
That's
the
even better.
Dead of Grey's Anatomy.
A couple more. Last Man Standing renewed for season 5, which I'm a fan of. Marvel's Agent Carter renewed for a season 2, in which I got to hear Hallie Atwell talk about that at Comic-Con this weekend.
Yeah, I never realized they were supposed to renew that. When I first heard about it, I always thought it was just like a filler. But I guess they're going to turn it into more, so good for them.
And on the same note, Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. renewed for a season 3. Modern Family for a season 7. Once Upon a Time season 5. Shark Tank, which is a show that I've actually really gotten into and really enjoyed.
So good.
Season 7 for Shark Tank, and the Shark Tank Beyond the Tank, which is the new show that they just debuted a couple weeks ago.
Beyond the Tank.
You know what? Yeah. That was on the other day. I watched about 5 minutes of it and was like, no, bring Shark Tank back on.
Like afterwards in the green room?
Yeah,
it's after they make deals.
No, it's
they follow up with the companies
like months later.
Yeah.
The dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, it's not as good as Shark Tank.
No, definitely it sucks.
Moving on to CW, canceled is yeah, pretty much canceled is Heart of Dixie after 4 seasons and The Messenger after 1.
That show must be really bad if it got canceled after 1 season on the CW.
I'm not going to lie. I've not heard of most of these shows mentioned on any of these networks. Especially those 2 on the CW. Yeah, I don't watch a lot of episodic television.
But yeah, renewed pretty much everything else. Arrow, Flash, Jane the Virgin, iZombie, Supernatural. Supernatural's going into its 11th season.
Jesus, that's a show?
Yeah.
It's been on TV for 11 seasons? Oh my God.
I haven't heard of that either.
Is it about superheroes?
That's the one with that I mentioned earlier with Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki. Yeah, it's about they're 2 guys that go around demon hunting.
It's like Grimm?
So, no, not like Grimm. Like there's.
Is it Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
It's kind of like it.
Is it funny?
There's definitely some humor to it, but it's more of a serious.
I think we're asking too many questions about a CW show at this point.
I know, CW, but it's 11 seasons long, and I've never heard of it. How can that be? Probably seen its ads on buses and never knew what it was.
Oh, if you watch Arrow or The Flash, you've seen probably commercials.
Oh yeah, I always fly through them on the on.
They promote the shit out of their own shows on that channel.
I'll tell you what, though, you'll never see any of the members of that show at conventions like Comic-Cons and stuff like that because they are there are supernatural conventions and they're exclusive to that convention.
Wow, elitists.
They are. They do not.
Wow.
It is in their contract. They are not allowed to do any other conventions other than the supernatural convention.
Wow.
And they charge like 3 times the amount of everybody else.
What?
Were there 10 people at these conventions?
And people pay.
Yeah, who goes?
they hold it at a McDonald's or something? What like?
Yeah, at their house. Is it at their house? I bet it's at their house. These actors. Who did you mention that's on that show? Who?
Jensen Ackles, Jared Padalecki, Misha Collins. So, and I've heard these are all great guys.
Are these names I should know from anything other than Supernatural?
Nope.
Not at all.
Oh, there you go.
220
even their fame is completely unique to their show.
Yeah.
Jared Padalecki was on Gilmore Girls.
Oh.
Another CW show.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
CW's been around that long? Gilmore Girls seems like it was on forever.
Was it called CW then?
Oh, it was the
WB.
WB.
It was the WB, yeah.
Yeah.
And Whose Line Is It Anyway? Yeah, Whose Line Is It Anyway got renewed, too, for a 3rd season.
We talked to, like, essentially the entire cast of that show at this point.
Yeah, your friend... Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't talked to her.
You haven't?
No.
She is also, like, the busiest woman on
Earth. That's what we were told.
Yeah, I can throw in good words for you.
Awesome.
Sure. She's cool, man.
Yeah, we talked to Colin, Brad, Sherwood, and
Greg
Proops. Yeah.
We're having Colin and Fred Willard come do shows with us at Dad's Garage next month.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
What dates? Well, if anybody's listening, Atlanta.
Mid-June. I don't know. You can see that at dadsgarage.com.
All right, perfect. Yeah, anyone in Atlanta, definitely. That would be awesome. If I lived in Atlanta or had enough vacation and time and money to fly down there for the weekend, I would.
Colin's the best. He does shows with us semi-frequently, and Fred's been with us one weekend, and he is a riot.
Fred Willard's hysterical.
Yes, he's the best. He is the best. He's so fun.
Moving on, we got two more networks to cover. NBC, I know, we're going to push through these really quick. Cancellations for NBC, A to Z, About a Boy, Allegiance, Bad Judge. Constantine, which is actually being shopped by Warner Brothers for another network. And they're actually talking rumors that the character of Constantine is going to cross over into Arrow until it can get picked up for another network.
Is Matt Ryan going to play him?
Yes, Matt Ryan's going to play him. Stephen Amell is pushing very hard for this to happen.
Is the Green Arrow going to start fighting demons?
Yeah, that's a good question.
That would be fun.
Well, there's actually a crossover, and I don't want to golf on another tangent. But
podcast is all about tangents, Ben.
I know. We've just discovered the Lazarus Pit in Arrow, a couple hours ago. A couple episodes ago. Spoiler alert. I know.
I knew it was there. It's okay.
It was,
That's a spoiler because it's just kind of part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And Constantine actually has a very big story arc in part of the comic books involving the Lazarus Pit. So there is room to cross over for these two characters. Marry Me canceled, One Big Happy, Parenthood, Parks and Rec, and State of Affairs. With the renewals being, just to mention a couple, The Blacklist, Celebrity Apprentice, Chicago Fire and Chicago PD, Law and Order SVU for the 17th season.
Oh my God! Who's on that anymore? Who's
Ice-T, baby?
Ice-T.
Ice-T?
Yeah.
Is it really?
I don't know. That's who I thought.
Isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
We got some special victims.
And The Voice.
Big old man kangaroo, and I busted victim.
I find it so funny too that Ice-T, who was singing songs about like going after cops and things like that, is now he's now one of the longest running cops on television.
Been a TV cop since the
2000.
Is that how long he's been on?
Yeah, 344.
Wasn't he on another one before he jumped over to SVU?
Oh, I don't know.
I think he was. I think his character crossed over.
Joe's him and Richard
Belzer?
Yeah, he and Belzer weren't they on a show together? Or was that SVU?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I've never watched one episode of Law and Order.
I tried to go on IMDb to type in Law and Order Special Victims Unit to find it, and I didn't use the ampersand. I typed out and there's some kind of comedy short called Law and Order Really Special Victims Unit.
Oh no!
2009.
No. Next topic.
Shows coming this summer: America's Got Talent, Last Comic Standing.
Yeah, you forgot Undateable, who just did a live show last week.
Did you see what their renewal is? Their renewal is a full season of live shows.
Of all live shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all. It essentially was like a funny version of SNL.
That's great.
Yeah.
So I've never seen it. I've never seen Undateable.
It's so good.
I watched the live one because Steve tweeted about it, and I was like, "Oh, I got to see that."
Is that the one with Crystalia?
Crystalia, yeah.
Okay.
And Ron Funches.
I love Funches.
And there were so many cameos in the live one. I mean, like half of the Scrubs cast.
Well, it's Bill Lawrence. The same guy that created Scrubs.
Right.
Also is, I don't know if he created it, but he has a hand in Undateable.
Oh, that's great.
So, and last network is CBS with their cancellations, including Battle Creek, The McCarthys, The Mentalist, The Millers, Stalker, and 2.5 Men.
Poor Will Arnett fails again.
Oh, with The Millers.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with some notable renewals being Two Broke Girls, Big Brother, I don't know why, Big Bang Theory coming back for a 9th and 10th season. Surprisingly, CSI Cyber got picked up for another one. Hawaii Five-0 for season 6, which I love Hawaii Five-0. All three NCIS, The Odd Couple, Scorpion, Survivor for its 32nd season.
Jesus. They do more than one a year, right?
They do 2 seasons a year, yeah. So technically it's like their 18th year doing it. Undercover Boss, and still to be determined at this point is CSI, the original run. So I've heard rumors of a 2-hour-long movie, or like a short season of like 10 episodes and then a 2-hour-long movie to wrap it up. But I think they're pretty sure that this next season...
And crime is finished. We solved them all.
Las Vegas is clear. So, oh man. All right. What do you say we get ready to wrap things up? So, Adam, are you ready for your weekly update?
Yeah, sure.
All right. I will send it over to you with Adam's weekly update.
And now, the Showcast Weekly Update.
All right, this week's weekly update brought to you by Heart of Dixie, because it got canceled and we probably never have to mention the name of that show on this podcast again, thankfully. So starting things off, a Las Vegas sex museum has offered Monica Lewinsky $1 million for the DNA-stained blue dress that she wore during her affair with Bill Clinton. Former President Clinton, on the other hand, is offering $1 million to anyone not named Hillary who will have sex with him.
Jesus.
Zing!
A new study indicates that standing up and walking around at work can help offset issues caused by sitting all day. Unfortunately, this has caused a lot of work-related injuries for race car drivers and fighter pilots.
Oh, my God.
Kawamo!
Next up, a Canadian woman who didn't know she was 37 weeks pregnant gave birth aboard an Air Canada flight from Calgary to Tokyo. After she got off the plane, Air Canada promptly handed her a bill for a vaginal delivery fee.
Oh, God.
Which, by the way, I want to point out, I don't know how people never know that they're 37 weeks pregnant, but that's a different topic.
There's a whole show about it.
You wear a lot of big coats.
Next up, U.S. Marshals are currently searching for a drug suspect who escaped house arrest by putting his court-ordered GPS monitor on his cat. Officials became suspicious when they noticed the monitor was acting like a little son of a bitch.
Wow!
Next up, parents and doctors have grown concerned over a brand called Dr. Coco that began selling a new cough syrup that tastes like chocolate. Next year, they plan to release Pixie Stick flavored cocaine and Percocet that tastes like Skittles.
It's about time.
Fox's hit show Empire, which we just mentioned, was renewed, has announced that Season 2 will feature guest stars such as Chris Rock, Lenny Kravitz, and Alicia Keys, which would have been really big news if it were the year 2001. And finally, according to a new study done in the U.S., too much sex can actually make you feel miserable and depressed. According to my own study, people who do studies telling other people sex makes you miserable aren't having sex.
Yeah.
Probably true.
And that is the weekly update.
All right, cool. So, yeah, this is probably going to be one of our longest podcasts. But I don't have a problem with that at all because of our special guest host this week, Mr. Lucky Yates. Lucky, thank you so much.
That's what happens when you bring a blabbermouth. That was a blast, man.
Yeah, I knew this was going to be fun. Do you have anything that you want to promote while you're on with us right now?
Just check out everything we do at Dad's Garage. Go to dadsgarage.com. It's the theater where Amber Nash, who plays Pam Poovey, and myself work.
Yeah.
I have that podcast because I don't have I'm a Samsung. I'm an Android guy on my phone, but I have there's an app called Pod Thingy, and I actually subscribe to you guys on that too. So I listen to Dad's Garage.
We'll have to start producing podcasts.
There's two big podcasts. Well, there's three podcasts that I subscribe to. I subscribe to our own just because I like to go back and re-listen to kind of like hone on things and stuff like that. But I listen to Dad's. Exactly. But I listen to Dad's Garage and another one. I don't know if you've ever met him before, but we're hoping to have him on soon. I listen to Doug Loves Movies by Doug Benson.
Oh, I've not met him. John Roberts, who plays Linda on Bob's Burgers, was just on his little pot smoking show.
Yeah, getting Doug with high.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. It's called Getting Doug with High. And all they do is just go on and they just get high and talk about shit.
Yeah, it's great.
So
I hope to get on that show one day.
Well, if we get to talk to Doug, we will definitely plug you.
Awesome.
And give you a nice little good word towards that. So, we're, as Adam had mentioned before, we're definitely working on hopefully getting you guys up here.
Yeah, cool.
We'd
love to come up
in this area.
So, but in the meantime, we got to wrap things up. So, Lucky, thanks again for doing this.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Anytime, man. It's a blast.
We'll definitely have you on again.
Cool.
Without a doubt. Adam and Steve, anything else to wrap up?
Follow Lucky on Twitter at Lucky Yates.
Yeah,
Follow Kristoffer Polaha on Twitter at Chris Polaha with a K. Go see Where Hope Grows in theaters on May 15th. I think, what do you say, Steve? If 190,000 people see it, they'll break an independent record or something
yeah,
like that.
they're trying to break an independent film record. So, and it's I think he's saying it's in enough theaters. They just need people to go out and see it.
Yeah. So let's do that.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get it done. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and any word on? I know that we couldn't get descriptions of it before when we talked, because we talked to Chris Parnell a couple weeks ago too, and he said that the next season of Archer is ready to go in a different direction than it has before. Have you guys started to get any scripts or anything as to any ideas where it's going?
I just heard from Adam today, and he's unable to even meet for lunches or dinners because he's in Archer lockdown to write the script. So, I have no idea. For all I know, we're about to come out as superheroes. I have no clue.
That would be fantastic.
I have absolutely zero idea.
So all I know is I had only seen maybe bits and pieces of Archer before we talked to you the first time. I watched a whole season before we talked to you, and then after that I went back to episode 1. I binged the whole thing, and I love that show now.
It's a really, really funny show. It's very smart.
Yeah,
it's starting to get a lot of traction with syndication too. They're throwing it on a bunch of different networks now. Yeah,
love it.
So, but that's going to wrap things up for us this week. Obviously, we want to send you to our send you to our Facebook page, facebook.com/nextlevelradio online. Follow us on Twitter at NXT Level Radio. Subscribe to us on iTunes. Just search for Next Level Radio in the iTunes store, and of course, check out our website www.nextlevelradioonline.com for all of our past shows and interviews. Once again, thank you to Lucky Yates for joining us this week.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
And with that being said, we will see you guys around the bend. Take care.
Later.
See you.